Mr. Marker. Clerk, are you ready? Good evening, everyone. We're calling the meeting to order. It's the regular City Commission meeting this November 18th. If the clerk would kindly call the roll.
Commissioner Marker.
Here.
Vice Mayor Long.
Here.
Commissioner Cassell.
Here.
Deputy Vice Mayor Burns. Here. Mayor Carney.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. If you could all rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Thank you all very much. You may be seated. Agenda approval. Now, there are a number of people here for the resolution regarding Roy Simon. So what I wanted to do is to move that up in the agenda with everybody's consent. We have that now. As it's right. It's on the. It's on the. It's where?
7G.
It's on 7G, correct. So what I'd like to do is to see if I can move 7G, because it's not a resolution. We're discussing consider ways to appropriate to recognize a longtime resident. If we could move that up to before all of the comments and inquiries, and just make it as like
5A1.
Yeah, 5A1 would be a great spot for it. So that's my request on 7G. Are there any other discussions on the agenda?
No, thank you.
Got all your notes. No other questions, so I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. For a recognition of the 128-year anniversary of St. Paul American, this is, you were on.
Yes, and I don't know, do I have any members of St. Paul here? Not sure. Say AME. No, they didn't make it. Should I read it anyway? They're
Yeah,
not.
go ahead. Okay. You may as well put it into the
Yes.
record.
So this recognition is for the 128 years of St. Paul AME Church, and it reads as follows. St. Paul African Methodist Episcopal Church roots were planted in 1895 when tycoon Henry Flagler provided lots along his railroad for a school and a church in Delray Beach. In 1897, 12 African American settlers established St. Paul AME Church, formerly named Mount Tabor. St. Paul AME Church is the second church founded in the city of Delray Beach. Pioneers who later settled in the area, originating from Florida's Panhandle, Georgia, and the Bahamas, arrived in search of work and held their first service on November 19, 1897, at Fagan's Henry's Packing House in the town of Linton, 17 years before Linton would become incorporated as the city of Delray Beach. St. Paul AME Church shared a building with Mount Olive Baptist Church. In 1902, a new church building was built and renamed St. Paul AME Church. St. Paul has an original church bell which rang on Sundays. It is now a monument that sits in front of the church, and in 1958, the original building was constructed. In 1897, the first minister of St. Paul was Reverend J.L. Moore, and in 2025, the new minister of St. Paul AME is also a Moore, Reverend Tamika Moore, our first female minister in our 128-year history. We are happy to have her serve as our new pastor. In 1897, St. Paul AME Church, its leaders and members have a long and loving history in Delray Beach. On behalf of the City of Delray Beach City Commission, we are honored to recognize the 128th year anniversary and dedicated community service of the St. Paul AME Church, presented this 18th day of November 2025.
Great. Thank you very much, and congratulations to the St. Paul AME. We're now moving on to 5, comments and inquiries on agenda and non-agenda items for the, and what we've moved 5, so we have 7G, we have the Roy Simon presentation, which is formerly 7G, considerations to recognize Roy, I'm sorry?
So this is 5A1. Typically, I would offer a few updates in advance of the formal item. However, we can go ahead and take this first.
Go ahead, you first.
Okay, thank you.
First.
But
I'm
I'll
sorry,
be-
Ms. Rana.
Because I actually do have a few updates, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a function of the commitment I made a few meetings ago to do more to help respond to issues or concerns expressed by residents and stakeholders via this particular format. And the two I had in mind for today pertain to major projects and initiatives that are upcoming, one of which having to do with the water treatment plant facility. I'd like to offer a nice gesture coming from Bank of America Securities in relationship to the initial revenue bond issue associated with the development and construction of the new water treatment plant facility. In that, we're also pleased to report that construction recommendations services will be offered during the December 8th meeting, enabling us to finalize groundbreaking ceremony activities to take place shortly thereafter. So for that reason, I thought it would be appropriate. And coming from Bank of America Securities, we have as our underwriter for the revenue bond issue, the first $148 million revenue bond issue having recently been closed, I have a presentation of this token from the underwriters to the City of Delray Beach. This actually showed up in my office this weekend when I stopped by Saturday afternoon for a while to take care of a little legwork, and I thought it would be appropriate to share with the Commission and the public the gesture in this regard in light of the fact that we've made tremendous progress with respect to guaranteed maximum price recommendations that are forthcoming for your December 8th meeting. Fitting is that, given that that is the last meeting of the calendar year. So you will be making major commitments in that regard to get us to that place. I'll also bring this up in this particular context, ladies and gentlemen, because a number of residents and stakeholders continue to be not only interested, but highly anxious to see us initiate this project. And I believe most of you, if not all, have also heard from residents and stakeholders when we will get the water treatment plant up and running. And thus, I decided to offer that update in the context of the presentation from Bank of America Securities as our underwriter. So we will appropriately display this token in an auspicious location and celebrate that achievement as we prepare for December and beyond. Number one. Number two, a number of you, even the few days I was out last week, had expressed or shared with me questions or observations relative to improvements being implemented along Delray Beach waterfront, notably the pavilion. However, it's in the context of a number of other improvements being implemented along the Delray Beach waterfront. We talked a little bit about the pavilion rebuild not too long ago, the fact that 316 stainless components are being replaced, really to involve creating a more safe structure, because there's been some issues with the facility in terms of its infrastructure going back a number of years, a lot 10 years ago or so. A number of the issues and concerns having been expressed pertain to the timing of the implementation in this regard. Quite frankly, our interest was to get this squared away during the summer months when it was less busy in terms of visitor presence, tourism, etc. However, there's a number of supply chain distribution issues that did cause a bit of a delay. So I would like to share that publicly to offer an apology as to any inconvenience that may be necessary. However, no one did anything deliberately bad, wrong, problematic, or irresponsible. It's just a function of project implementation. However, this is also positive in light of the fact that numerous other improvements are being implemented along the waterfront, including Florida Department of Transportation's resurfacing of the roadway, the beach renourishment program, I provided an update to the City Commission via information letter report a couple weeks ago. The fact that we will be embarking on that initiative sometime next month to also feature a groundbreaking ceremony to kick that project off over the next few months, while in the context of doing what we can to manage the turtle nesting season as well. So there are a number of dynamics that play into the implementation of various projects and programs that benefit the waterfront, as well as the fact that shower fountain replacements and other ancillary features are being improved across the board as well. As it relates to the pavilion rebuild, the timing may be regarded initially as somewhat less than impeccable. However, other improvements are concurrently being implemented at this time as well. So, likewise, we're not in a bad position, ladies and gentlemen, and quite frankly, on a positive note, I see it as an excellent opportunity to showcase numerous improvements effectively and efficiently in that particular environment. Thus, my request is that the residents and stakeholders or all others concerned do what they can to please understand and be supportive, because these are tremendous accomplishments being implemented concurrently to benefit that particular area of the community. Ma'am.
Mayor, could I just, Mr. Hajimari's here, so the monthly, I want to say I thank you, as we're talking about the water treatment plant, for the monthly updates that we get, and I think if the residents are watching, it's very exciting to see the progress, and I'm super excited about the beginning, which is the deep injection well, that we started working on that, so thank you, Mr. Hajimari.
Thank you, ma'am. One last item finally. During the conclusion of the workshop meeting portion, a representative from Brooks Lane had an opportunity to share with the City Commission some issues and concerns relative to flooding in the area.
Right.
I had an opportunity to visit with Director of Public Works Missy Barletto earlier on the subject, and I was pleased to learn that the black flow prevention device for that particular vicinity was actually replaced 5 days ago. So November 13, 2025, last Thursday, 5 days ago, the replacement was not only achieved in that regard, however, a follow-up inspection regarding functionality was achieved just earlier today as well to ensure that it is functioning properly, and the report is coming back that that is in fact the case. Interestingly, however, previous two backflow prevention devices had failed for unknown reasons. It could be a malfunction of some kind, it could be, who knows. Nevertheless, direction is imminent to do what we can to make sure that we are squared away in that regard in terms of functionality. But I would hope that residents and stakeholders concerned about this particular issue can experience solace in knowing that responsiveness and attentiveness had been offered in a fairly timely manner. Hopefully, we will not have the situation repeated in terms of failed backflow preventers in that particular location, but that will go a long way in terms of alleviating flooding issues and concerns as having been shared earlier today. So with that, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, I yield at this time. Thank you for the opportunity, and I hope those updates are valued and appreciated by all concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have moved up the agenda for the consideration to recognize Roy Simon. As everyone in this room knows, Mr. Simon and the Simon family are real pioneers in the city of Delray Beach. Mr. Simon is had been one of the most foremost architects. A lot of the buildings you drive around and you see in Delray were designed by Mr. Simon, probably closed by his brother as a lawyer and all that. So, do we have Rita Rana from the Rotary Club?
Yes.
Who has a statement she would like to read?
Yes, I do. But first, I just want to briefly just say thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of our residents, our business owners. Thank you to some of the people who work here in this building with the city. I was here the last Tuesday that you were meeting to discuss the program that the Rotary Club of Delray Beach did for the homeless children, and all of you rose to the occasion, and everything that those children needed on the list, because of all your contributions, we were able to get them everything. So thank you very, very much. I love this city. So when we come together, we come together. I wrote this because I don't want to leave anything out. This family is too important. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and fellow residents. The Rotary Club of Delray Beach is honored to commemorate the legacy of Ernest Ernie Simon and Roy M. Simon with the installation of a memorial bench beneath the great oak tree at Old School Square, a place that reflects the history, heart, and community spirit of Delray Beach. It is a fitting tribute to two men who helped shape the city in meaningful and lasting ways. When I first moved to Delray Beach, I quickly fell in love with this community and volunteered with the Historical Society. In the little cottage where our tours began stood an old organ with a plaque noting it had been donated by the Simon family. Even before I knew their full story, I could feel how deeply their roots and generosity were woven into the fabric of our town. Ernie Simon was known for his quiet strength, kindness, and unwavering commitment to helping others. Active on numerous nonprofits, he was a steady presence in community life, supporting local initiatives, Rotary projects, and offering his time whenever Delray Beach needed him. Roy Simon, his younger brother, carried that same spirit of service throughout decades of civic leadership. A recipient of Rotary's Service Above Self Award, he helped found the Downtown Development Authority in 1971, laying the foundation for the vibrant downtown we cherish today. As an architect, historian, and preservation advocate, Roy played a key role in shaping landmarks like Old School Square and guiding responsible city growth. His legacy continues through his daughter, Laura Simon, who for the past 14 years has led Downtown Development Authority with the same passion for strengthening our downtown and our sense of community. The Simon family's contribution, past and present, reflect a deep love for Delray Beach. They remind us that this isn't just a place we live, but a community we build together. We invite you to join at a future date to be announced as we place the memorial bench beneath the oak tree, honoring Rotarians Ernie and Roy, not only for what they accomplished for our much-loved city, but for the values they embodied: service, integrity, generosity, and a belief in giving back in future generations. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Delray Beach, thank you for joining us in honoring these extraordinary men and their enduring legacy. I also want to take a special thank you to Manager Moore and Sam Meatot for helping us pull this together, and we'll be giving you the date for that memorial bench being
That's
input.
great.
So, thank you. And thank you to the Rotary Club of Delray Beach, where my father served, along with many other of my uncles and cousins that also served with the Rotary Club, as well as the Lions Club and many, many other civic organizations. But, and I appreciate you all considering this, recognizing my father and all of his work that he's done. I shared with you all today through email some of actually a speech that he wrote when he received this Service Above Self Award almost 20 years ago, which is an honor that's given through the Rotary Club to those who serve and commit service. And it is a story that he told about a lot of different things. And as many of you know, my father was born here in 1930 on Southeast First Avenue in the house that's actually still there, and loved this town more than anything. And our families came here, our Simon family, Isa, came here in 1911 and fell in love with this community and saw it for all it's good, and continue to do that. And our family, my Uncle Sandy is probably watching, my Uncle Charlie, they're my brothers of my father Roy, and truly love this town. So I think while I know my father was very involved to the very, very end, he's still, as my pastor says, he was wearing his boots to the end. He was still working on projects that actually had to be turned over to Roger Cope or Gary Iliopoulos to finish his work. But one of his last buildings was the laundry room at the Colony Hotel, a house on Nassau Street, St. Paul's Church. So there's still a lot of work he did, and I think he was meeting with Commissioner Marker on the Friday before he passed away. So he was very invested in seeing this town thrive, seeing it grow, seeing its evolution, as we all are, and we're very honored to recognize him. He was very passionate about parking and very passionate about keeping downtown equitable for all, and for making sure that it is about the employees, it is about the customers, it is about the commerce, and really making sure that it continues to thrive. So I found numerous emails around parking that he shared. But for the community himself, my father was an architect who went to Georgia Tech, came back, and has and served on many boards for the city to help guide where we are today and the ordinances and land development regulations, and has his pencil marks on almost every building here. I know Pompey Park, City Hall, the community center, the police station, many commercial buildings on Atlantic Avenue and throughout the downtown, and hundreds of homes, including mine that I grew up on 201 and Northwest 11th Street. So it's beautiful to be a part of a community, to see that, and I just thank you all for all that.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
And we're honored to honor your father and uncle. And I look forward to sitting on the bench, because it needs a bench there.
Thank you. And I thank you for the Rotary for doing that. I know that was their commitment right after he passed away, including since my dad did renew his Rotary membership in July and then passed away in August. They actually gave me the membership for that. So, but I am official now on my own. So.
But I understand he had contacted the Kiwanis just before.
You think? I don't know.
What I remember.
No, I don't know about that.
I could be
That was
wrong.
Uncle Charlie.
I could be wrong.
Uncle Charlie, not Uncle. Uncle Ernie, and so. But thank you for consideration, and whatever you choose to recognize him for his legacy and his impact. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much. Okay.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
this is Commission's opportunity to offer any thoughts or considerations that you all may wish to make available with regards to the matter. That's really why this is here.
Okay.
Ms. Rana did an excellent job conveying the collaboration involving the Rotary Club relative to the memorial bench and the legwork that was squared away in that regard. So thank you, ladies, for the work and the energy to get to that place. Nevertheless, there appears to be some thought relative to doing a little bit more to honor Mr. Simon's legacy, and quite frankly, this is an opportunity to defer to the Commission relative to any specific thoughts or considerations that we may be able to bring back at another time, so that we can receive appropriate direction and take it from there.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Excuse me. I had asked to bring this back to a meeting because we talked about this probably a year ago, and it seems that there has been nothing since then. But Ms. Simon has a number of ideas if you want to present them, or if you want to pick. But I think none of them are at all unreasonable. We had a conversation, and I think we should let Ms. Simon decide how to best honor her dad. And if you want to give the Commission the ideas you had, that would be great.
So we've had some conversation. Is it me? Oh, it's Dad. Dad's saying hello. So as I said, parking is definitely a passion for him, but numerous people have recommended to me just in some way, whether it's the rail. So also part of the Downtown Development Authority, in his as a founder, part of its first 2 decades was acquiring and creating the parcels that are currently our public parking lots: the railroad lot, the Gladiola lot, the village lot, the Veterans Park lot. And to create those parking lots for employees as well as customers to continue the evolution of our downtown. So if there is a naming opportunity for the railroad lot or Veterans Park lot or something in that regard. Also, just for the community to understand, Atlantic Plaza 777 original Atlantic Plaza was designed by my father and also owned by our family and developed by our family, Uncle Sandy, and all the brothers and my grandmother were part that created that plaza originally and operated it for a number of years. So that as well, but I think something in that regard. Versus he was not a parking garage guy, but I'm just saying. So, but he also was a Green Owl man, and someone said we should just dedicate the parking space right out in front of the Green Owl for Roy Simon. So anyway, just a few options, but it's up to you all directly. I appreciate anything that, and I know our family would really appreciate that.
Great.
Let's make a decision and make it happen.
I'll stay.
I'm sorry?
Let's make a decision and make it happen.
Well, I mean, we have parking lots, we have, with the space outside of the Green Owl, I mean,
How do you name a parking space?
well, I don't know, you should put a sign there.
Should we do it in the bank location that used to be the Green Owl? That seems more appropriate.
Have you given this any, do anybody have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I like her idea of, the parking lots, what,
Railroad lot.
the railroad,
Is that what it have a name?
the
We used to
the
call
Roy
it the
Simon
railroad
lot sounds
That's
better than the
correct.
railroad
That's a
lot.
lame name. We should change it anyway.
Yeah,
Roy
give it a
Simon.
name.
Roy
I
M.
mean,
Simon.
I mean, if that's,
I agree.
she feels like that is important, so do I.
Thank you.
Is it the Roy M.
And it's
Simon
an
Railroad
easy-
lot or just the Roy M. Simon lot?
Throw out. We'll chat GPT it. No, I'm just kidding. No, we can. Yeah.
It's better than the railroad lot, so.
Look, I think we should consider naming one of those lots.
That's
I mean, the
semantic.
railroad lot seems to be that's
Perfect.
clean, easy choice.
So the railroad lot will be renamed the Roy M. Simon lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
So we will go about the
Can it
next.
be free?
Just
I don't know.
for,
Wait,
There's public
wait,
comment
wait.
after
I
this.
need-
So.
just for the
consensus
record,
vote,
though, that
roll call.
doesn't bring along with it free parking.
Could I just ask one question? With all our signage,
Just watch.
Help myself.
if I may, all the signage we put out in the city, do we have those Delray Beach signs, Missy? Do they say railroad lot, or do they just point to parking lot?
And they say railroad lot. They say railroad lot, I believe.
So we may have to call it the Roy M. Simon Railroad Lot, so that,
We could just get new signs. I mean,
No, we don't want to
Well,
spend the money.
it's up to you all. I mean, I think for the beginning, it's going to be confusing if we don't change those signs out immediately.
Yeah, it's a good transition name, so we'll do that first.
And then-
we'll move it into, as we get new signs, we can.
When we get new signs, that's going to be forever.
So the initial naming moniker will be the Roy M. Simon Railroad Lot, and
Are
that
you
will
happy
eventually
with
be
that?
transitioned accordingly.
Is that okay?
That sounds great. Thank you.
So the formality for naming, it does necessitate formal consensus, formal vote of the commission, actually, so if we
I think
can
have
get to that
consensus.
place.
Got my vote.
I think we have consensus here. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Do I need to have a formal vote? I don't think so.
Well, it was an
We're all
item.
agreeing, so.
It was on the regular agenda, so,
Yeah,
but
it's
it was as
regular
a
agenda.
consideration, so.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. It's
Thank you.
unanimous. Great.
so we'll proceed accordingly. Thank you.
All right, now moving right along. We have reached the point of our meeting yet again for comments and inquiries from the public. If there are any members of the public wishing to speak on any agenda or non-agenda item other than quasi-judicial items, which you will be having the opportunity to speak to as those items are called, please come to the lectern, give your name, your zip code, and you will each have 3 minutes.
Judy Malika, 33444. So last evening, your P&Z board got a consensus to bring something to your attention that we just discovered, and that's the city of Delray Beach has no regulations with regard to gun ranges or gun clubs. An indoor gun range is currently allowed in 2 different zoning areas with no review approval, but most importantly, no separation requirements from residents, schools, churches, or parks. There's no definition for the use in the LDR and no special requirements for specific use. All of the surrounding jurisdictions do have gun range regulations, with separation requirements. So I'm asking the City Commission to consider adopting regulations including separation requirements and maybe perhaps requiring conditional use or commission approval for gun ranges and gun clubs to keep Delray safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Malika. Any other members of the public?
I do. Laura Simon with Downtown Development Authority. I'm with public comment regarding the noise ordinance that was reviewed at the workshop, and just wanted to really recommend and encourage that we work together to roll this out. You know, a lot of those great comments, and really educate the restaurant owners, business owners that are in the entertainment district, outside the entertainment district. The entertainment district ends at Federal Highway, so that, you know, we have a lot that goes east. So really incorporating that as we roll through this process. Also, our retailers and other residents that are in the downtown district. So look forward to being part of that process. And expanding and the discussion about expansion of the entertainment district as well, because that has been a huge topic of conversation in the past 2 years as we've grown east of 95. And then the other item I wanted to also on the agenda is the Garlic Fest event that is coming back to downtown Delray Beach. We're at Old School Square, so we've been working, and I had the honor to sit several times and meet with Nancy Stewart to discuss this opportunity and working with her to bring it back. She felt it was time, and we met, we talked through it, and it was, I sat with the mayor, and just it was really a great opportunity for us to transition and bring back Garlic Fest to downtown in a new way, and hopefully you all will support that. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. Good evening, City Commissioners and City staff. My name is Brandy Miller, and I am the Chief Development Officer at Achievement Centers for Children and Families. I'm here this evening also with Sarah Martin, who is with Epic Events, and she helped to run our events. I wanted to share with you some of the impact that Achievement Centers is here in our community is making, thanks to the support of our community as well with our Witches of Delray Beach ride. Our mission is simple, to build a collaborative community where children reach their full potential and families are the foundation of that growth. Each year, we serve more than 750 children, ages 1 through 18, with 63% living right here in Delray Beach. We provide early learning, after-school care, teen leadership programs, summer camp, and family support services, removing barriers through scholarships and affordable programs. Achievement Centers is nationally accredited, and we've received many awards that we're proud of. We provide 2,500 hours of early learning and 1,500 hours of out-of-school enrichment. We distribute more than 165,000 meals and snacks, and we facilitate 900 family referrals and 600 educational workshops through our family support program. Our signature events here in Delray Beach are vital to our work and our success. The 14th annual Mariner Witches of Delray Beach bike ride, held in October, was our most successful yet. So I want to thank you for those of you who came. Thank you, Mayor. Raising nearly $60,000 to support local families. Over 300 witches soared along an extended 2-mile route, safely guided by the Delray Beach Police Department, and we're very grateful for that. After the ride, our Platinum Steppers performed for hundreds of attendees, showcasing the confidence and talent with the city's partnership and our community support and what it makes possible. So we're grateful. The ride capped off with a month-long series of themed events, including hat decorating, Witches Trivia Night, Witches Brew, and Witches Night Out, all designed to bring our community together in magical ways. We Also surveyed our participants after the ride, and most heard about the event through social media and local news, and their favorite part was meeting other riders and watching the Platinum Steppers perform. Nearly all rated the event as an excellent value and shared creative ideas for next year. One participant said, "If I could wave my magic wand, I'd add a contest for the most creative costume and decorated broom." Along the Witches Ride, our Delray Beach Home Tour is another iconic event, a celebration of design and community that will take place in Lake Ida in March. Together, these events bring in $300,000 annually and is significant for our nonprofit here, which is anchored here for over half a century. So save the date for the 15th annual Witches Ride, October 24th and 2026. And our Delray Beach Home Tour, which will be March 10th in Lake Ida. And now that it's November, this is a month of gratitude, and we wanted to extend our gratitude to each one of you in this room and our entire community for all that you do to help support us. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was so good. Hi, my name is Sarah Martin, 1121 North Lakeside Drive, Lake Worth Beach, Florida. I wanted to come on site as a former event producer here in Delray Beach, having produced all your major events, and having history in that respect. I just wanted to give a little shout out, or a big shout out, to the team that on your side that helped us facilitate this iconic event, which is Ride. Officer Sarah Cini and the Delray Beach Police Department safely got us through our 2-mile trek, so kudos to you guys. Thank you, thank you. Also, Allie Behrman from the City Manager's Office walked us seamlessly through the event planning process and always greeted us with such joy, and it was lovely to work with her. Ace was our lead with the Streets Department. They were in charge of keeping us safe and street closures all on time and in place. Also, the DDA board and staff, they supported our event this year, and their staff was instrumental in allowing us to use the pavilion stage, which is where we show off everything and do our witches' cackles. Also, I want to thank some others that collaboratively worked with us to make that day so special for so many. We worked closely with the Green Market to ensure that their first day was well attended by our witches, and also logistically that we worked together so smoothly. Also, I would like to thank the Parks Department, Danielle Pearson and Danielle Beardsley, for their support in working with us with Kids Fest as well. So that's it. I just wanted to give you guys a shout out and let you know you've got a great team behind you, and it was a joy to work with them, and we look forward to working with them again for Home Tour and also Witches' 15th year.
It was fun seeing your husband all decked out too to go on the bicycle. I mean, so.
He's with me at every event. In our 24 years, there's only 3 events we've not done together. So yeah.
I didn't recognize him at 6:30 in the morning, and then I said, "Wait a minute, I know that guy."
And he's got a big beard right now,
Yeah,
which throws it off.
yeah.
I know. Well, thank you so much. You've got a great team, and it was great working with you guys again after all these years. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Queen with the Socialist Silver Circle. How's everybody going? The first thing that I wanted to know is, I know you can't answer any questions, but the supermajority vote, I wanted to know, I heard last time I was here it was taken off the table, and maybe we'll put it in the air. It should be brought back up, because there's other voters that feel that that should still be in the air, and the people should be able to decide that. So I guess we'll try to decide when that'll be brought back up. The next thing is, I wanted to say, I know the last time I was here, there was a lady that she was speaking on behalf of her entire senior citizen group. So I want to make sure, and she had 15 minutes, and I have a good connection with my senior citizen group in the city of Delray, who also made up this city more than not. So I want to make sure that we understand. I will be speaking to them, which some have already spoke to me, and they still have words that they would like the commissioners, the mayor, and the city manager, and also the chief of police. We would like for all of you to hear their words as well. And I'm going to I'm standing for them in my Socialist Silver Circle, because they're old, they're senior citizens, and they can't quite get around like me. And I want to make sure that their voices are heard clearly and they're not rushed. So I'm looking for those extra 15 minutes.
No, first of all, no one gets 15 minutes.
Oh, well, if we're doing it
They're given
collectively,
3.
because I know the last time we were here, you allowed the lady with her whole group, you allowed her to speak on behalf of everyone so that they didn't have to get up each
Right, she got
individually.
6 minutes.
Okay, well, if it's 6 minutes, I'll take whatever is
Where
available.
are the people, well, she
I
had the
understand.
people there. Are the 6 people?
Thank you,
that-
but the senior citizens that I'm dealing with in Delray that made up this city, they're not able to get around the way those ladies are. So I think we can make some adjustments to that
Oh,
in
I
this
think, but
community.
I think that I run this, I make the adjustments.
And you could, that's okay.
You have 3 minutes.
And I understand, and what I'm speaking about
You have
is,
3
and
minutes.
what I'm speaking
You're
about is the
wasting your 3
senior
minutes.
citizens, and I'm still on my time. I'm speaking about the senior citizens that are around here, the black senior citizens that are very important as well, but they're never brought to the table. They made this city up, and we're gonna start recognizing them. The last thing I'm gonna speak on is, I would like to understand how many police officers does it take on one person? So not only did I have a case with a slew of the Delray's finest on me because they have weapons and boy shorts on, I just had to do a recording of an almost 30-minute recording, and I don't understand why would it take 8 of our cruisers, a sergeant, on one black boy? But we're complaining about budgets and monies and officers don't have things and stuff like that, and I'm kind of confused by that. And then it further made me think about, why would any sergeants around here that started from 2007, what sergeant around here, if we're having budgets and we can't, why would a sergeant be making over $150,000 to 160? I mean, it seems like that's the problem we had last time with the city manager, and we couldn't account for where that money came from. So these are questions that we want to know. We want to get deep down in the bottom of the soil. We get to the top of the water, but we got to get the roots planted the right way, then it can grow. And with that being said, I think that's a tactic of intimidation as well. I mean, we got budget problems, but we got 8 officers sitting out on the black boy for almost 40 minutes, but we got other crimes. And then if they're not doing anything, shouldn't they be off work? We shouldn't have 8 officers, including a sergeant, when we have complaints coming in and we can't get a sergeant on the team until 2 hours later.
Okay,
So
I'll let
hopefully
you-
we'll
I'll let you
address
finish
some
your
of these
thoughts,
things.
so thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much for your time, Mayor.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll meet you in person.
Hello, beautiful people. Marjorie Waldo from the Arts Garage. I am always truly full of gratitude for all that you do. If all it is sit through these meetings twice a month, it blows my mind. Anyway, thank you for all that you work to do for us. I'm really excited to share some new details about our Arts Garage Senior Series. We will be pushing in movement and improv programming to centers operated by our current partner, the Palm Beach County Community Services Department, Division of Senior and Veteran Services. We will serve over 300 seniors monthly, all aged 70 to 85 or up. 10 push-in classes each month to 5 centers: West County Senior Center, Mid-County Senior Center, Mid-County Senior Center, Mid-County Day Center, North County Day Center, and North County Senior Center. Adult day care programs provide a structured program of therapeutic, rehabilitative, social, and leisure activities in a monitored setting. The programs offer supportive services to the families and caregivers, as well as through caregiver support groups. The senior centers are a community focal point where active older persons can socialize and participate in programs and activities which enhance their quality of life, support their independence, and encourage their involvement. Our test launch in 24-25 was so successful that we have grown the program for 25-26. Arts Garage is super excited to work with Palm Beach County's Division of Senior and Veteran Services and to share the healing benefits of the arts with one of our most vulnerable populations. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, City Commissioner, Mr. Mayor, and Mr. Moore. Christina Morrison, my zip code is 33483. First of all, I am sharing my gratitude also to this city and to you, and especially to Chief Hunter and his team for allowing people like me to feel safe and secure and just surrounded with all the good things that we bring to Delray Beach. So thank you. Thank you. He's a Rotarian, I'm sorry, not a Canary. I know. The Kiwanis group up here, but Rotarians are pretty good people too. Okay, so I started coming to meetings in Delray Beach in 2003. I served on several boards all these years, and since 2003, the topic of conversation has always been West Atlantic. West Atlantic's going to go. West Atlantic, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. And to this day, there's a lot of West Atlantic that still isn't done. The city has, through its various agencies, have brought up a lot of the land along in the West Atlantic corridors, both north and south, and it's still fallowing. So that's very disappointing. There was a talk earlier at the workshop about forming a new group for West Atlantic. Just because you form a new group through the state doesn't mean they have to be charged taxes. What they can do is get UDAG, block grants, SHIP, sale money to bring this area to life. I'm from Philadelphia, and if you know anything about Philadelphia, we have wonderful neighborhoods, just like Delray Beach. Delray Beach has fabulous neighborhoods, and they use these avenues, these federal and state grants, to make the neighborhoods better, to improve areas that were not kept up so much as other areas. So I think if we just can get going and get the grants flowing and get the enthusiasm going and let West Atlantic be what it was and better, it would do our city great. Back earlier this decade when I was on SPRAB and Atlantic Grove was approved, I thought, finally, West Atlantic is going to come into its own. Well, Atlantic Grove is a proof of what all of West Atlantic can be like. Retail and office on the grade level, housing above, flourishing all the way to I-95. Why can't we get that done? The city owns the land. Let's go, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Mavis Benson, 33445. Originally, I wanted to speak about the parking. It was on the agenda Saturday, and then this morning, or yesterday morning, it was no longer there. The one thing I do want to address concerning that is that the message that's getting out there is a bit confusing to the public. So if we could do anything to clear that up, as I understand it, the pilot program is for the employee parking only. Everyone's assuming that that's going to be the same for charging in the surface, metering the surface lots and the garage. So we need to make certain that they understand that is for the employee parking program, not for the whole package that's being considered at this time. On another note, I'd like to invite you, if you haven't been yet, over to the Cornell Museum. We just had a new exhibit open. It is Gustavo Novoa, very primitive, surrealistic artwork that's just fabulous. We have his work along with Dorothy Gillespie, a woman ahead of her time in what she was doing, working with metal and ironwork is just phenomenal. Also, we have another local, Crystal Bacchus, and the Italian mosaics. We do have some of those still here because by popular demand, people are coming from all over to see the artwork. We've had people from Orlando come down for that. With the new exhibit that opened Friday night, we had over 200 people come to the opening, and then we had a VIP party gathering on Sunday night, and there were 91 present for that. I encourage you, this is your building that the DDA is beautifully taken care of. If nothing else, please come and walk around, be among the people, listen to the comments that they're making. I stood there and listened as they came in and they went out, and many of them, it far exceeded their expectations. And I think it speaks well to Maruska and the team she's assembled there and what they're doing. And I encourage you, I scolded the DDA board for their not being there at some openings, and I did the same with the Old School Square Foundation. So, this is my message to you. This is your building. You need to be aware of what's going on. You need to see it in real life yourself. I think if you haven't taken the time to go over and see the exhibitions at any point in time, please make certain you do. Pay attention, see what's going on. I think you'll be well pleased. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Mayor, Commissioners, Yvonne Odom, 33445. I almost gave my address. Two things. First of all, let me say about Roy Simon, goes way back to high school because the Hilltopper Club was born out of Seacrest High School. And when I decided to reactivate the Hilltoppers, because I learned that the Quarterback Club was born out of Carver High School. And that's one of the things that I love about this city. Historically, black high schools, white high schools, the coaches, staff, they all support it. I have a ad where Docs had an ad in our Eagles Claw. So he was one of the first ones that paid his $500 to come back and be a Hilltopper. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge that. I knew that family for years, talked to some of the kids, and it's just a wonderful family. Now, the other thing, I'm almost embarrassed, I think. You know me, I don't have to be embarrassed by anything, but it's 7J says discussion regarding applicants received for Vice Mayor Long's seat. And I just want you all to know, I know y'all got my application. But I just want to say it because nobody's saying anything. And I would be honored, but I want to publicly state I will not seek the position as an elected official, but I don't mind serving that short time so those who, want to run for the seat to have the opportunity. I've been in this city my entire life, adult life. I married my high school sweetheart. We bought our first little house at Carver Park. I've worked here my entire life. Old School Square, 1968, 4th grade. Then I moved to Pine Grove for those years, and then finally at Carver, 45 total. So just like you, somebody said earlier about how much they love this city, y'all should know how much I love this city. I've served with the police. The police know how much I love them too. I'm beginning to love the fire department because I did meet with the chief, and we should have it's a glowing city. And trust me, people come to Delray to see how we do things. I've been involved. I would have an honor to sit in that seat just for that short time and just carry on the legacy that's already been established. Now, there are other candidates. I don't know all of them, but I'm sure they're well qualified and they love Delray. But I bet money they don't love it as much as I do. So anyway, thank you so much for consideration.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zoda.
My name is Chuck Ridley. My zip code is 33444. I'm going to try to get 3, maybe 4 topics in the time that I have allotted. The first is I attended the Vision 2035 session, and frankly I walked in with very low expectations, and I walked in to be who I typically am. I went in with my boxing gloves on, ready to fight, because my impression was that this would be once again, an opportunity where we jump over the set and go to other neighborhoods. And I was wrong. You're not going to hear me say I was wrong often. But on this particular occasion, I was wrong. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't surprised by the facilitation. What I was surprised about was how many folk also embrace that it is time to double down and allow the set to have its due and be on the gem, the jewel that it should be. Commissioner Burns, when you talked about St. Paul AME and about how they build that facility and when it happened, the truth is that too often we call our neighbors the West Settlers. The truth, we're not the settlers. We actually are the founders of this community, and the set needs to be treated accordingly. Second, I do agree with Ms. Odom. Yeah, you're not going to find anyone that loves this place any more than Ms. Odom. Now, she happens to be my cousin, so if I'm biased,
We're getting into having to give equal time here. You know, I think there's rules.
yeah, but they had their opportunity. But the long and the short is, I do remember, and it was for much of the same boundaries. The last time we had a commissioner go, it was to seat 88. But at that time, seat 88 did cover what we now call the set. But what I remember most is that there were many major decisions that came down, and 4 commissioners with the amount of decisions that come down is not adequate. Please do not put us in that position. I am advocating for Ms. Odom, but I am also advocating that you have a complete cadre of elected officials on the dais. And I want to make you aware that the veteran post-188C did have our first fundraiser, and it was a resounding success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public? Where's Mr. Long? I mean, doesn't he do the clip? Can we send somebody out to get him? I mean, anyway, there are no other members of the public to speak. Public comment is closed. We now need to approve the consent agenda, correct? Is that where we are?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved. We now move on to 7A of the regular agenda, which the city attorney would like to read the resolution.
Resolution number 209-25, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving an impact event known as the 27th Annual Delray Beach Garlic Festival to be held February 28th to March 1st, 2026, on and around the Old School Square campus, authorizing the city manager to take all actions necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution, providing an effective date and further purposes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Moore.
Yes, sir. It's pretty straightforward. However, the content, of course, the footprinting the Old School Square campus. A number of people expressed thoughts and observations based on previous Garlic Festival experiences in the city of Delray Beach, Florida. That is not the case in this regard. So our interest this evening is to discuss specific details relative to the condensed footprint based on previous experiences in this community. And Ali Berman, who's the special events manager, is in position to discuss briefly what that looks like for the city commission so that you all can consider accordingly. Given that this is an impact event, this necessitates city commission approval in the regular meeting format and thus the scheduling as outlined.
Thank you very much. Ms. Berman.
We're not on. Good evening. Allie Bierman, Special Events Manager. So like Mr. Moore said, this is the 27th Annual Garlic Festival being put on by the Delray Beach Arts Inc. It will take place February 28th through March 1st on the entirety of the Old School Square campus. There will not be any road closures for this event like there has been in the past. They're expecting about 4,000 people per day, which goes over the 3,500 people per calendar day, which makes it an impact event. There's no financial impact to the city as the producer will be billed for all the costs of the event. And then I went too far. I don't know how to get back to that. I was going to show you the map for the event. There we go. So it will all be fenced in. It is a ticketed event, but it's not on the scale as what the Garlic Festival used to be. That's it for me.
Thank you very much. We actually met with Nancy, Ms. Stewart, like I guess it was a week before she died when we organized. 2 weeks before she died, yeah, where she explained that it's going to be now just really within the campus, and because a lot of the complaints always were the road closures, and they addressed that issue, and they've addressed it in size and scope and scale and everything. So it's now in front of the commission. Commissioner Casal.
No, I support the event. Could I just ask one question, though? Can you pull up the slide map for me? Why are we utilizing the vendors on the front lawn and not in front of the amphitheater, or are we?
The applicant's here. She can answer that.
Hi. Hi. Good evening. Jennifer Costello, 33444. Good evening, everybody. Our vendors are going to be in the front lawn, and they're also going to be over on the east side where the Christmas tree right now is. Where you see the other little?
Yes.
And in front of the amphitheater, we're leaving that open for the concert series. We have national concert coming in.
Oh, so it'll be going on at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that answer.
All right, Commissioner Burns?
I'm in support.
Commissioner Marker?
I'm really psyched this is back, and I'm totally in support.
Thank you.
All in support. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's, I mean, obviously I'm in support, so it's a great, I'm looking forward to it.
Motion to approve resolution number 209-25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved, unanimous.
Thank you.
We have an amendment to the parking space agreement. Mr. Attorney Jelen, do you want to kind of articulate for us what the scope of this is, the amendment?
Good evening, Mayor. Ms. Palenque is here. She represents CDR Del Rey, who has a parking space agreement with the city. If you're familiar with the location of formerly known as the OG, now the Standard, there's a railroad parking lot there that was constructed around 2020. The city entered into an agreement whereby the CDR Del Rey would get reimbursed their construction fees. The city would enforce the parking lot. Any revenues would be shared. I sent you an email earlier today or yesterday that we're not realizing any revenues because the construction costs were astronomical. Although they're probably less than that they would be now. But Ms. Palenque does have a very brief presentation if you want to hear it. Really what they're seeking to do is take over the enforcement of the parking, the maintenance of the parking lot, in order to ensure as best as we could that there are not going to be any predatory parking practices. We did put certain safeguards in there. If you remember the Sunday Village parking garage agreement that we did, where they are required to keep their rates at or below whatever the city's rates are for the area adjacent to that garage, this is the same thing. And so staff didn't have an objection. Mr. Moore told me this could go on the agenda. Did I cover it?
Yeah, for the record, Christina Palenque, Ms. Backman. Just to add to that, the only other thing is there are 4 truly public parking spaces. The remainder are assigned to the OG property and the Del Rey Triangle property. My client's intent is to allow those 4 public parking spaces to be free of charge day and night. And then the remaining 57 parking spaces for their uses, they'd be able to charge.
Okay. Are there any comments? Commissioner Long? Nope. Commissioner Marker? Commissioner Burns?
No.
Commissioner Casal?
I had a discussion, we spoke, do we have to do ex parte on this? No, because
No,
it's just
no,
a discussion. Lynn, you and I had a discussion on this. Some of these spaces we allocated during the consideration of the OG because they were having dining, and that's what, 4 spaces? How many? It's considerably more.
So there's 57 spaces that are split essentially between OG and Del Rey Triangle. I can tell you what the split is if you want to know. So OG had 29. This is why I'm a lawyer, not a doctor, because I can't do math in my head, but 61 minus 29 minus 4 is what?
So 29 and 4, that would equal 33. 60 from 61, that would be 28.
We do high-level stuff here.
So 28 is for Del Rey Triangle. I think that's accurate.
That's pretty good.
That's why we keep them.
Helps me out.
So the spaces, part of the agreement, I should have mentioned this originally when it was first approved, was that OG needed parking spaces for their restaurant use, and so they were able to construct these spaces to satisfy that. In addition, if they had any additional need for parking for any additional spaces, which is where Del Rey Triangle came in, they would be able to use those spaces for their needs. So that's why we wound up with
And they're
4.
still utilizing the lease agreement from, they don't own this lot.
It's owned by the railroad, yes. They have an easement.
Right. It's just an unusual circumstance when we get into these arrangements, especially as a trade-off for consideration. We typically follow them through, and while in the beginning I looked at this and thought, well, it could benefit the city, it's not what we typically do, and I can't foresee, I feel like there's some potential problems with it, and I can't foresee what they are.
If for some reason they were to lose their agreement with the railroad,
They have
they
no
have a certain
parking.
amount of time where they have to come up with parking or they have to close. And that's standard in all of our, like those in-loop parking agreements or off-site parking agreements that we have.
Right.
So, I feel comfortable that there's safeguards in here that if they lose the parking lot, if they don't operate properly, that the city is able to have some recourse through enforcement.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone? Yep.
That's.
Okay, then I kind of had discussions with you about this and thought there were sufficient safeguards and protection, and if we needed to exercise our rights, we've retained essentially rights to do that. So I think I need a motion one way or the other. Yes?
A motion to approve amendment number 2 to the parking agreement and covenant with CDR Delray FEC LLC.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Oh, good, my favorite part. Discussion of Senate Bill 180. Where are
I
we?
feel like Anthea tonight. I have all the items.
We filed the, we've entered into the,
We filed the motion for preliminary injunctive
yeah, the
relief.
injunctive relief, right?
I think we're waiting for a hearing date on that. So just by way of background, as you're all familiar, SB 180, we entered into litigation with other municipalities and counties because of the concern of the home rule erosion by the state. Essentially, this was an emergency management bill that everybody at first blush thought it was related to being able to rebuild your property after a hurricane. Upon further review, it was very clear that the bill included every single county in the state, regardless of whether or not you had true impacts from a hurricane. So that started a stream of concern from planners, attorneys, city commissioners, and so we have entered into this litigation. The crux of the litigation is really it's very technical. Laws are required to have a single subject rule. Essentially, you can only have one subject in a law. So if you have a bill that is about emergency management and then they throw in, code enforcement in there and it's not related to the bill, that could be a potential violation and a basis to go to court about it. So a lot of it is related to the single subject violation, the defective title, because the title to the bill didn't properly notice people to tell them that this was going to be a preemption on home rule powers. Right now, the concern is that if something is found to be overly burdensome on a property owner, if we establish litigation either now or, and remember, this one goes retroactive, so it goes back to October of, I believe, 2024. So if it's found to be overly burdensome, a property owner would notify the city. If we didn't repeal the ordinance, they could go to court. If they prevail, they could receive up to $250,000 in attorney's fees. So it's a very strong language in that ordinance, in that bill. And so we have joined the litigation. We're waiting for a ruling on our expedited motion for preliminary injunction. If we prevail on that, it's kind of a good bellwether to tell you how the litigation is going to go, because the standard for a preliminary injunction is very high. But if we prevail, I would not come to you and say, okay, let's start adopting ordinances. I would still take a wait and see approach to see if the legislature is going to have a glitch bill that's satisfactory, or if we're going to continue with the litigation.
Okay. Any comments from the commission?
No.
I mean, Mr. Long.
Yeah, I spent more time than normal in Tallahassee lately, and this is all anecdotal, but I've had a lot of conversations about this bill. It just comes up a lot. And the prevailing winds are sort of, on both sides of the aisle, are looking like there's going to be a lot of support to amend this, which I think is in many ways because of the stand that cities like ours have taken, which I think shows just how important it is that when someone encroaches on our home rule that we do take a stand, because I think it will be a direct response to that. Again, can't guarantee an outcome here, but I'm just telling you kind of anecdotally what I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, the caption of the parrot, you wouldn't even have picked it up if you read the caption. You would have thought it was about, and it was, they snuck in a line that was, I don't want to say snuck in a line was in there that, as interpreted, literally this was the genesis of all of the problems we're having. So it's good news, Mr. Long, and I appreciate your update.
Yep, I'll keep you posted.
7D, Resolution 201-25. Would you like to read that this is a quasi-judicial? We have 3 quasi-judicial hearings. We have 7D, 7E, which is Resolution 211-25, and Resolution 237-25. I'm going to read for everyone the quasi-judicial rules generally, and as we get to the items, I'll then ask for the ex partes. These hearings on these 3 items will be conducted in accordance with the quasi-judicial rules. The applicant and the city shall be allowed 15 minutes each to present their case. The public shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes each, or a maximum of 6 minutes if the person represents an organization or a group of people who are present but agree not to speak. The city commission and staff and applicant may be allowed to cross-examine a witness. The city or the applicant will be allowed to offer rebuttal testimony. The decision to approve or deny an application or appeal may not be legally made upon personal views as to whether a project is a good project or not, nor may a decision be based on the numbers of citizens who support or oppose a particular project. The law requires that all decisions must be made on the basis of whether the project meets the requirements of law, the comprehensive plan, and the land development regulations. Are there any people here wishing to speak on these 3 items? If so, if you could please stand and be sworn by the clerk.
Yeah.
By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you all. If you could please read into the record the file for 201, the resolution-201.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving a request to utilize the masonry modern architectural style for the property located at 466-506 Northeast Fifth Avenue, as more particularly described herein, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you very much. If you could please enter the file into the record.
Anthea Geniotis, Development Services Director, and I'd like to enter file 2025-058 into the record.
Great. Ex parte communications. Has anyone here had any ex parte communications on this matter? Seeing none? None,
No.
right? I need a firm yes, no?
No.
Great. Thank you very much.
Mayor, may I intercede before we get started here? I already talked to Lynn about this. Given that we're already starting the process of not doing this anymore with Masonry Modern presentations, can we just agree to skip this tonight?
Well, not skip it, but
I mean, skip the whole
You mean
presentation.
vote for it? Just vote for
Just
it?
vote for it, is what I'm
I
saying.
would be totally in favor of just voting.
Save everyone's time, because we've...
I think generally speaking, and we have been looking at this, we ought to be only looking at these things in the event that staff has disagreed with them, not when everyone's kind of saying, you know...
Right, there aren't any other waivers for
Like we do with
consideration.
some of the other boards, we only hear about it if there's an appeal of your decision.
And if I could suggest that perhaps for these that are not, that have gone beyond like an administrative approval level, that we just go to SPRAB or PZ, depending on who the approving body is, and
And then
give
put
them
them
an
on
advance
Right.
look, and then they can weigh in, and then it
And
can
then let
go
it
back
get to
down,
us.
and it would only come here as an appealable or for final.
I think
I'm going to write it tomorrow morning, this
I like
ordinance.
that. Yeah. So can we just make a motion?
Then I need
Okay, motion to
I need a
approve
motion to approve.
Resolution number 201-25.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Marker,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Cassell,
Yes.
Deputy Vice Mayor Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Carney.
Yes,
Motion
great
passed.
presentation, Anthony.
We had already approved the duties.
If you could please read Resolution 211-25 into the record.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving a Level 4 site plan, architectural elevations, landscape plan, approving a waiver to Section 4.6.9C1C5 of the Land Development Regulations to reduce the number of required bicycle showers from 8 to 1, approving a waiver to Section 4.6.5F of the Land Development Regulations to eliminate the required 2-foot setback for a rear wall for the project known as the Kia Del Rey, located at 2255 South Federal Highway, as more particularly described herein, providing for an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you very much. If you could please read the file into the record, project file into the record.
Yes, Anthea Janiotis, Development Services Director, and I'd like to enter file 2024-259 into the record.
Great. Are there any ex parte communications on this matter?
Yes, I spoke to council.
I spoke to the applicant and staff.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I spoke to anybody.
Just the staff.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to staff, but I don't think I spoke to anyone.
I mean, either nobody calls me anymore. Lame duck up here.
Can we show you the door? No. Oh, listen. I mean, you got another month to I mean, really.
Wounded.
He's wounded. To you.
All right. For the record, my name again, Christina Belenke, Miskell Backman. My address is 14 Southeast 4th Street in Boca Raton. It's a pleasure to be here this evening representing Kia in their redevelopment proposal. So I think most people are probably fairly familiar with this portion of South Federal Highway, south of Linton. It is where you have the vast majority of the car dealerships within the city. On your screen, the existing Kia dealership is highlighted in the red box. To the south of that, you have Ford. To the north, you have the Mazda. And you also have a handful of dealerships across the street on the other side of Federal Highway as well. The particular property is about 3 acres in size. Again, it's already developed with an automotive use, so it does have that general commercial land use and the automotive commercial zoning designation. Oh, and that skipped over. So here you have a couple images of the existing Kia dealership. The buildings were developed quite some time ago, over 40 years ago. I think one was actually maybe even in the 60s. They are dated. Most of the other dealerships along this stretch of Federal Highway have been recently redeveloped. And so the Kia is looking to bring their property kind of in line with the modern contemporary looks that the other dealerships have as well. Here you just have a couple other graphics of the existing conditions. There's not a lot of landscaping on this site right now. It's a lot of just open space for parking. You do have bay doors that front Federal Highway. So a lot of that is proposed to be redeveloped and improved. We are here for a level 4 site plan modification. The dealership with the garage, the dealership is about 42,000 square feet. You do have a 3-story parking garage as well. And the access point is the same on Federal Highway. That part is not changing. And so vehicles will come in here. The showroom is located in the front along Federal Highway to really highlight that front facade. And then there's service drop-off that is in this area. And similar to other dealerships, that's really just being utilized as a drop-off area where you would check your vehicle in and then a technician would take it around back to perform the service. We do have 2 waivers associated with this application. The first waiver is to reduce the number of showers required for the dealership. And, the showers are really intended to encourage people that want to bicycle to work or run to work perhaps to be able to have an opportunity to shower and then start their day. We don't disagree with having a shower, but certainly we do not want to provide 8. We don't think there's a need to provide 8 showers. And that calculation is really based off the gross square footage, which includes the garage itself, where you're essentially just storing inventory. It's not usable space where you're going to have offices and things along those lines. If we were to limit the calculations to just the showroom and office space, we'd only be required to have 1, which is what we're proposing. And then our second waiver request, which we'll get into in a little bit more detail, is related to the location of the rear wall. Essentially, the code requires the wall to be set into the property by 2 feet. The wall is along the property line currently. There's an existing wall. And we're proposing to keep the wall in its current place so that we don't have to impact some mature landscaping that's in the area. And again, I'll get into that one in a little bit more detail. One of the other items that is kind of relevant to this proposal is the South Federal Highway Redevelopment Plan. And that is basically for the stretch of federal highway south of Linton. The plan provides for various recommendations, but specifically says, if the city wants to enforce some of those recommendations, land development code amendments would be required. Still, I think there was a lot of back and forth with staff to try and comply with those standards to the greatest extent that we possibly could. So we certainly tried to do so. One example of that is with respect to the rear setback. And so the rear setback per code is required to be 10 feet. The redevelopment plan notes that when you have residential adjacent to these commercial areas, larger setback should be required and recommends 75 feet. We have roughly 68 feet in most instances, with the exception of where there's a stairway, where it's a little bit reduced, and then a 50-foot right-of-way to the east, which is Florida Boulevard, and then the residential areas. So we do believe we are in compliance with the intent of that. Again, this is the proposed site plan. We do have customer parking areas in the front of the store or the showroom. The garage offers both employee parking and parking for the storage of inventory. Here again, we have the 68-foot setback. And then we do have quite a bit of landscaping in the rear as well, on the east side of the property, adjacent to Florida Boulevard, really to buffer those areas. So there's a 25-foot wide landscape buffer with plantings on the inside of the wall. And then on kind of the east side of the wall, you have the additional vegetation that is existing, and then we would supplement that, clean it up, fill it in to the extent there are gaps to really enhance the buffer for those residential areas. This graphic shows kind of a breakdown of the open space areas. There will be plantings adjacent to the building to really provide relief from any kind of building mass. You do have an expansive buffer along Federal Highway. That's the one kind of green area that does exist today. We are providing perimeter buffers on the north and south sides that don't exist today. And then there's the expansive buffer along the rear and some landscape areas within the parking space areas as well. So all in all, we are improving the existing conditions, which provide 12% landscaping to the 25% required by the city's code. Here's just a floor plan of the proposed use. Again, you have your showroom and kind of sales area in the front, as would be expected. The service shop is kind of on the ground floor of the garage area. You do have the one shower that is indicated there. And, you have a customer valet area for drop-off, which I mentioned previously. These are the proposed renderings. We did spend a good amount of time going back and forth with staff on the front elevation in particular to provide really a contemporary modern look, enhance the appearance of the proposed building. One thing I will say is these elevations do not show the landscaping that's going to be provided up against the buildings, which will further provide relief from the mass or the perceived
mass that, the elevations, the flat elevations appear to show. And again, the rear will be broken out quite a bit by the canopies. This is in line with a lot of the other auto dealership redevelopments that you see along Federal Highway. We have a couple here, for example, and in particular with the Ford that's located just to the south. And for example, these are the elevations that were recently approved by Ford, showing the garage and the garage areas. Really, there's only so much you can do with a parking garage in terms of structure and relief. So we are in line with what they're proposing. And then this is the existing vegetation that is located on the east side of the property. So this is along Florida Boulevard. You see the kind of Florida Boulevard notation on the screen there. And again, with respect to moving the wall, the code requires us to shift the wall 2 feet, which is not much of a noticeable difference in terms of the location of the wall. If we were to demolish the wall and kind of start fresh and put new footers in, that would compromise a lot of the root systems of the mature trees that are already existing in this area. And our team felt it's better to have the mature trees, the larger canopies. Most of the time when we're talking tree disposition, you want to save the large trees because of that, because they already provide an expansive buffer. And if you were starting over, you have trees that are not as tall, don't have the same canopy spread. So it takes time for the trees to get back to this level. We would be proposing to clean up this area, again, add additional plantings where there are gaps, and then there would be more plantings on the inside of the wall and the west side of the wall internal to our property as well. So all in all, we feel that will screen the parking structure fairly significantly, and that's in addition to a 68-foot setback. We do have a graphic there that kind of shows what the parking structure would look like behind the buffer. And so that is our request related to the wall. And this just shows you what the alternative really looks like. If we were to take out that landscaping and plant new, this is the Ford dealership that is also located along Florida Boulevard, again, just south of this property. They added kind of completely new plantings, but we see value in the existing buffer rather than having these smaller trees that don't have the same height and spread. And again, here's the existing vegetation from Florida Boulevard. The shower waiver I already touched upon. I don't think we need to go into that in much more detail, but in terms of compliance with the waiver criteria, we don't believe either waiver will adversely affect the neighboring area. With respect to the wall area, with the wall waiver, we think it's actually an improvement to enhance or keep the enhanced buffer that results from those mature trees. The waiver will not significantly diminish the provision of public facilities. It will have no impact, will not create an unsafe situation by any means, and will not result in the grant of special privilege. And then the site plan does comply with the performance standards outlined in the city's code, along with the kind of appearance criteria. It is in harmony and compatible and consistent with the other dealerships that are along Federal Highway. And we think the redevelopment will add to value to this property and to the Federal Highway corridor in general. The Planning and Zoning Board did recommend approval at their October 20th meeting. And with that, our team is here to answer any questions you may have, and we certainly appreciate your time this evening.
Great, thank you very much. Anthea.
Okay, I'll try to go quickly and skip over any kind of consistencies between us in the interest of time. So I think the first thing to recognize is that while I appreciate that the applicant's presented that the application is like 42,000 square feet. When you add the substantial parking garage with it, this is like 143,000 square foot building. So it's a pretty significant structure, even though the bulk of it is a garage. This is the location that it's at. Turn that on, sorry. It is zoned automotive commercial. That's consistent with much of the corridor. And as you know, our auto dealers are legacy industries. They're very important to us. I think when you're evaluating the project before you today, the most important thing is in this instance, Florida Boulevard is running behind the site, and these homes face the back of this property across the street. So, and then as well, the property directly adjoins a residential parcel in this back corner. Some of the other dealers don't have some the side of a residential issue right there. This is between the plaza. It's more of a back-to-back. So this is really, I think, when you're evaluating the project, just in terms of impacts, the side to keep an eye on as we go through. Again, currently the project is the property has 2 structures on it. They're fairly old, and it's time to update them, and that's fine. One was built back in 1964 initially, another one in 1986. The use is not changing. It was an auto dealer before. It's just going to be a bigger one now with a bigger inventory. So they're going to demolish the existing buildings. It will be a 3-story, 143,672 square foot full-service auto dealership. The first floor is just showroom sales. There's some administrative area on the second floor, and then the rest of it is parking, including open-air parking on the roof. There are, in addition to the waivers, as part of the approval of the site plan, there are 3 determinations that you're also making with this approval. They're not specifically waivers, but they have to be, considered when you're evaluating the findings for the site plan. So the first is the loading bays. The code loading is handled in a weird language. I actually have it on a slide. I'll show you, where it's like you're determining that the loading is appropriate. And I guess the loading table is more guidelines, I don't know, than regulations in the code. So the size says 3. They're proposing 1. This is their business, and they're saying that this is enough for them. The other issue is the orientation of service bay doors. They are not supposed to face residentially zoned properties. And then the other is that it's not a waiver. It's that the code contains several exceptions to the height, where it says that the stair tower, being one of them, for example, can go higher if the body acting on the site plan decides it's fine. If fine is not the word, I'll show it to you. So the 2 waivers, I think you've gotten a good overview of. The code does have mobility requirements for large buildings. This is technically a 142,000 square foot building. The actual business part of it, as Ms. Belenke presented, is much younger, much smaller. So the request is reduce the number of required showers from 8 to 1. The issue that staff had raised in the previous presentation was you have a diverse workforce, maybe you need 2, but, and then the other one to allow the rear wall to remain at the property line rather than disturb the existing foliage, to move the wall 2 feet to try to make room to provide foliage, for the neighbors. So to look at sort of, again, the impact of those residences that face that road. It's possible that providing that requirement may end up being more disruptive than letting the existing wall stay there. You have a full, staff report that analyzes all of the concurrency requirements, including the traffic. Everything has been determined to meet standards. That's the other one. I'm trying to go quickly. So generally, again, the proposed automotive commercial is consistent with the corridor along Federal Highway, and it's characterized by similar full-size automotive dealerships. It's the street and behind and the other uses to kind of keep an eye on. the intensity is increasing, and part of that increasing is, allowing this to go up to utilize the roof. So that's something to consider. That is an action you're taking, and it facilitates the intensity of the dealership. So if you're supportive of that, this helps you get there. If you're concerned it's too much, then you don't have to say that the stair tower can go taller. The garage, this is the view that faces the neighborhood. The articulation required, I have a slide on that I'll show you as well, by the North Federal Highway Plan, which isn't technically adopted but provides some guidance, is one of the issues raised in the staff report. So again, this is the back of the dealership. These are houses' front yards, so they're facing it. So ultimately, the issue is with the setback and the landscaping. Is the garage okay, or is it a bit more massive? There was a visual impact analysis provided, like showing the corridor, but we didn't have one here. We need to talk about that. There's multiple policies that support automotive dealerships within our city and the important role they play in our economy. There are also policies that talk about the South Florida Federal Highway Plan redevelopment and the advice that it provides. So if this is a rear property line, in order to try to make the dealers more compatible with the surrounding neighbors, there was some suggestion of varying the setbacks 75 feet to 50 and trying to provide an articulated facade. Ms. Blanky is correct. Those regulations were never adopted formally into the LDRs. So there are suggestions on how to ameliorate, but they're not requirements. The setback that they've presented is kind of between these two. It's over 60 feet. So it's not, and it exceeds the current regulations and the current minimum, but it is a uniform facade. There were recommendations in this as well about how to buffer, how to do the landscape. So again, there's a significant buffer. The proposed, the redevelopment plan wants the wall to move back here. There's supposed to be more room. The LDR wants the wall to slide over 2 more feet. I think it's just really important to look at the images of what is there now, and also to recognize that they have balanced the landscape requirement. It's just on their side of the property, so the wall's not exactly where it needs to be, but the landscape buffer that is recommended is there. And there will be additional trees put into the public right-of-way to augment and meet the requirement. It's just, I'll show you an image. So the other issue that when we go back to these sort of determinations of it being appropriate is the service bay doors, that they are not supposed to be oriented towards any adjacent residentially zoned property unless it can be demonstrated that it's just not feasible to comply. This is a total rebuild, and it's not a small site. So we have 2 service bay doors that face South Federal Highway. There are other doors that are located facing east and south towards the RM property, specifically here. So as you drive in and drop your car, they're brought around, and then the quick service is done in these service bay doors. And this is a residentially zoned property, so the first couple are facing there. I think that one of the biggest challenges and the hardest one to measure when these types of projects come forward is the noise impact, ironically, after our workshop, right? Which is sound carries, and that when those service bay doors are like facing the residential, is the landscape buffer and the other things they provided going to be enough to keep the residential uses from being impacted by a dealer being there? And I always say this on the record, so I'm going to say what I always say, which is finding the cars by clicking the alarms is the biggest complaint we get. You cannot click the alarms all day and have the adjacent residences have to find that as the way you're locating the cars. So it would be good to hear someone speak to how that will be managed for the adjoining residences. And then finally, the other determination you're making is that that the residential, that the offloading bay is adequate. It is in the rear. It's 52 feet from the property line. There's one space. The code guides, 3. So the waiver, which is the subject of leaving the existing wall in its current location and not setting it back 2 feet, and waiving the number of showers that is required. These are the findings: that you're not going to adversely affect the neighborhood, diminish public facilities, create an unsafe situation, or obtain a special privilege. So you know this. This is the wall. So, and I believe Ms. Malinky showed you similar photographs, but there's fairly mature and other, fairly mature landscaping here. These are the fronts of the houses. To come in and rip all of this up to shift the wall may actually be more impactful than simply adding more trees on both sides of the existing wall. So I think that's the issue there. The architectural elevations are the dealership, and there's a full analysis of those. Those are the towers that pop up higher. The code just requires approval. It's an exception, but it's not like a height increase. It's an element that is allowed to go beyond the 48 feet. Okay. So ultimately, with the development of the project, is the rear setback and screening sufficient to ensure compatibility with the surrounding residential? Are any refinements, could they be added to achieve something different, or would they not really change anything? You use 4618 as the criteria for the board actions, whether the plan or proposed structure is in conformity with good taste, that the exterior design and appearance has an appearance of quality, and then number 3 is that, and this is really the one for this type of use, is it in harmony with the general area, with the comprehensive plan and supplemental documents. So in summary, was it 6-1? Oh, weird, I thought it was 5-2. Good. Okay. In summary, you would be approving the site plan, and as part of that, making a determination that one loading bay is sufficient, that the orientation of those service overhead doors is okay in this configuration, and that the stair towers can go higher, and then ultimately using the waiver criteria for the shower relief and leaving the existing wall in its place. So the Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval 6-1. They made the motion subject to the condition of a landscape maintenance agreement. However, it's not really their purview to decide the requirements of, we do them for anybody who has to do landscape in the public right of way just as a technical review, as a technical requirement. It's not the, so, but it was important to them. And I think that's the point, that the landscaping in the right of way was considered to be important to them, that we were to make sure it was maintained. As a matter of practice,
you do it anyway.
The mayor is smiling because he, in his previous incarnation, he knew we would do them all the time. Yes. So.
All right. This is a public hearing. If there are any people of the public wishing to speak on this application, please come to the lectern. Give your name and address. Name and address for the record. Yeah, it's different on.
You need my address.
Quasi judicial. I do. Well, I know where you live anyway.
So the robbers will come and rob me while I'm here.
Name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes.
Okay. Christina Morrison, 1000 Lowry Street in beautiful downtown Delray Beach. First of all, I lived in Tropic Isle for 10 years before moving downtown, and the auto dealers overall are very good neighbors to Tropic Isle. They keep their sites very neat, very clean, well lit, and they have been remarkable. Over the 10 years that I lived there, the whole atmosphere changed drastically, and wholeheartedly recommend that you approve that this still say auto commercial. Please leave the wall where it is. Florida Boulevard needs to be beautified, not ripped apart and start over. They're going to leave the vegetation that's there and add more trees and bushes. So that will only beautify Florida Boulevard, not tear it apart and make start over. you may want to consider moving the overhead doors away from the high-end houses in Tropic Isle and put them on the south end that abuts to another car dealership where they'll be less intrusive, and the noise that may be generated from that area would stay abutting a car dealership, not impacting the Tropic Isle homes. My question also would be, are they going to have turbo overhead doors like the Ford and Chevy dealership, where the cars drive in and the doors immediately shut, keeping all the noise to the service bays inside the bay, not eking out to the residential homes? So that's just my comments, and I really appreciate that this automotive zone is being kept intact. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Is there cross-examination or rebuttal? Either the staff and, no for the applicant? No, staff?
No, just, I'm not sure what turbo overhead doors are, but perhaps you do, and the impact that they would have, and then ultimately just how the inventory is handled to avoid the setting off the alarms.
I can
That would be great.
Sure, I can have the architect and operation team speak to that.
Hello, my name is Byung Yu. I'm the architect for the project. Do I have to state my address?
Yes,
I'm
please.
out of town, 680.
You're allowed,
Dartmouth.
that's okay.
Yeah, okay. So I want to explain what.
You still need to give your address, so for the record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the address: 680 Darlington Circle, Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, thank you.
The turbo doors are doors that open and close very quickly, and those are designed to keep the air conditioning, in place. So the slow doors, they take a long time to open and shut, and you lose a lot of air conditioning. It's more efficient. So this particular dealership, the service area is fully air conditioned. So the main door that goes in and out is one of the high-speed doors, as you mentioned. But that's the one that faces on the side of the building. Where you mentioned the doors are faced. I don't know if you can put the image of those are, the main service drive. There's no service performed, and you won't have any services. It's only like a ballet area where you are receiving the vehicles. So that condition, it appears in, I would say, pretty much every other dealerships along the street. It's also a condition from the brand to have the doors. We would rather not have the doors at all, but there's no service performed in the area. So that's the explanation that we wanted to provide.
Okay. Thank you very much. And no more rebuttal? Then to the
Do you
commission.
want to speak to the inventory controls?
Yeah, we'll have a representative speak to the noise as well.
Okay.
Hi, Stephen Myers, 915 South Dixie Highway, West Palm Beach. With regard to inventory control, we have pretty extensive key tracking machines that tell us where the inventory is. But in addition to that, many of these cars can be programmed to just flash the lights and not sound the alarm as well. So we would make sure that that was the case.
Okay. Thank you. To the commission. You're finished? Yes? Yes? Okay. Yes. To the commission. Commissioner Casal?
Sure. I really don't have a problem with reducing down the shower number of showers. And I understand the issue with the landscaping. If you go online and you use the Google, you can walk the perimeter and you see that the foliage is beneficial. But the staff is asking, and I guess it is a great question, why is the required orientation not feasible? Why didn't you work to create this within our LDRs that we currently have?
In terms of the service, doors?
Yes, I mean in terms of the service doors. I guess so. You're saying you'll drive in there, and when I
so-
go to my dealership, I drive in, drop off, and then they take my car someplace else to work on
Correct.
it.
So these service doors here
Mhm.
that go kind of east to west, that Front Federal Highway and this portion along Florida Boulevard, those are drop off only.
And then where will be the door? Is that going to be over to the right?
So I believe staff was concerned about these kind of quick service areas where you would have the doors, and there's a small area where you do have this residential.
Right.
But again, we've ensured that the eastern side that fronts Florida Boulevard, that fronts the majority of the residential, does not have those service
So there's two
activities.
doors somewhere in the middle. That's what the picture showed, correct? And then you drive them. They drive out, and then they drive in the back, and then they're serviced in there. Is that what's happening?
Here, I'm going to have our architect
I
come up and
apologize.
explain.
If you just go back to the back picture, I think we'll maybe see it.
Yeah, and I'll have our architect detail
The
that.
reality is that the majority of the cars, I'm sorry.
If we can go to the floor plan, yeah.
I'm just trying to answer the staff's question because it's a good question.
Oh, how do I control it? To go back?
That's okay. I was just going to go.
I'm not used to
You
that.
want me to go to the floor
Yeah.
plan?
Yeah, so the great majority of the main service is how do I point to the area?
It's
We can see it.
To the right, all the way to the right.
Okay.
Now, there's one high-speed door there.
Got it.
That is the main door. for
Understood.
the
So they're
service.
driving out around and circling through.
Correct.
Got it. Because right now, as it stands, they've got a whole service bay out there with car after car after car in it, and there is still a back service door in the current makeup online, or it looks that way
Well,
anyway.
What we are proposing is a vast improvement to the current condition. Every door that you have is facing the street and facing residential. So we are replacing, I don't know how many existing doors they have, 15, 16?
Right, there are a
with
lot.
one high-speed door
Yeah.
that is located in one single location and is
Right.
basically what your codes prefer to have it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's what it looked like looking at the photo of what's currently there. So I just wanted to clarify that.
So if the concern is this residential, right, and there's only a couple of doors that face this residential, but this residential does also not have the landscape buffer
Right.
that all of this residential has, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 parking spaces there. I mean,
So,
maybe there's.
Would the staff think that and I know we're not supposed to design from the dais, I'm just asking, if we asked you to implement
to expand the landscape buffer over those
correct in
4
that
spaces?
section?
Yeah, that's pretty.
No? I'm asking you.
I mean, I think something just to expand the landscape buffer, those 4 spaces bordering that, and
would be acceptable. So, I mean, is that
If there's noise, that type of foliage does help. I'm sorry. If there's noise, that type of foliage does help mute it.
would your client be amenable to that?
I'm sorry, I missed that. I was getting some information.
Apologize. The 4 spaces to the left, if you can hit those, Anthea,
3, 4.
are abutting the residential. So the question is, could you remove those 4 spaces, put in a little more landscape buffer so that we can feel comfortable with this?
Pretty good side setback. It's already.
I don't disagree, but it's right next to the parking spaces, and
that affect
they're saying
other
there's quick service
calculations
when they
if we
come
start
out
doing
around the
that?
corner.
Because they have 273 inventory car spaces, to
That's a
shift
lot of
four
spaces,
spaces
look.
to one way or the other. I think it can accommodate it. It's just so the code talks about the impact to residential. That's this border and this border.
Right.
He is correct that the bulk of what they're moving in and out is happening here.
Right.
This is the quick service. I'm assuming like just the oil change. I don't know. They can correct it. But this is the residential. This is currently residential. It's not just zoned residential. There are people living there.
Right.
So.
Would that be acceptable?
So I was just getting some details as to what that is actually used for. And for reference, currently there are 6 service bay doors that kind of front that residential area. We're reducing that down pretty significantly. And it is only really for oil changes, which does not have a lot of the noise impacts that, more intense service would have. So, from an operational standpoint, those will have the least amount of noise. So I don't know if that helps relieve the concern at all.
I'll let the others speak to their concerns.
Commissioner Burns.
Well, I looked at the project, and as far as the showers, I agree. Reducing those showers, and my question was answered about the bay, and now something else just came up about the noise, but the oil change stations. But I don't think that it is adversely affecting the neighboring area. I know that there's an inconvenience maybe for those 4 spaces, but overall, I think that the project is a huge improvement from what it is now. And whether I'm determining whether it goes from 3 loading bays to 1, that's not my expertise. So I would think that a business that's been in business as long as they have been in business would know if they need 3 as opposed to 1. So I mean, I'm ready to vote in favor of.
Okay.
I'll listen to the rest of my colleagues.
Commissioner Law.
I don't really have any concerns with this. Given that they have 6 doors facing those residences now, and they're going to narrow it down to 1, and it's a use that's relatively quiet. I think it represents an improvement there. This whole thing's obviously a vast improvement. Obviously, keeping the wall and the mature landscaping where it is makes the most sense. I don't care about the stairwells being a little bit higher. Who cares? What else? Oh, the shower thing. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't know how many people are really biking along Federal at this point. Unfortunately, I wish more would, but here we are. I have no issue with this. I'm fine moving forward.
Son of a car dealer from Syracuse here. So I looked at this. It represents such a monumental increase over what we had in Syracuse in the 70s and 80s. So I think this is great. I don't have any problem with less showers. That's kind of comical in this day and age. I love that quick door idea. They have that at all the dealerships that I go to, and I know it's an air conditioning thing, but it does keep the sound inside, and I think that's great for the neighbors, because some of the tools can get loud. We all kind of know that. And I'm a fan of leaving the landscaping in the back as it is. I think it looks like old Florida, and it's full, and if it can be just cleaned up a little bit, I think that's a win for the neighbors. I think that's what the neighbors would want, so I'm fully in favor, guys.
Thank you. I'm going to echo what my colleagues have said, and I think obviously I don't want to touch the landscaping in the back. I went through the site over the week. This is such a dramatic improvement over what's there now, and we reference what the doors there on the south side of the building, but what's there now is even worse. So it really is a dramatic. It really is. I know we're worried about noise and spaces, but it's just they don't have it. It's just. I would have thought that neighbor who lives there probably think this is a great improvement. So I'm.
They got mailers and they're not here. So.
Huh?
They got mailers and they're not here.
Well,
so
yeah, and this is a neighborhood that typically is not shy about showing up. I mean, so let's be honest. I mean, this neighborhood is even when you were there, Christina, I mean, you were never shy about showing up. So that says a lot. So I think that I'm going to go along with the P and Z findings in this as well. So I need a motion one way or the other.
Where are we? Motion to approve
21125.
Resolution.
resolution number 211-25.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Could you call the roll, please?
Vice Mayor Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Cassell,
I'm going to say no, and I apologize just because of the proximity to the residential and the buffer.
Deputy Vice Mayor Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Carney,
Yes?
Commissioner Margaret.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so it passes 4-1.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. Certainly
I'm
appreciate
sorry?
it. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
You're very welcome. And by the way, the beeping is going on now. I mean, it's actually going to be probably there'll be less beeping going on now. So,
We're not supposed to
for the
talk
cars
about
when you're
this.
trying to find them.
Why?
What are we, 7H?
23725, yes. 7F.
Oh, 7 of it's all hidden there, okay. Resolution 237-25. Please
Resolution.
read the resolution into the record.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving a conditional use to allow a pet grooming service at 5048 West Atlantic Avenue, as more particularly described herein, pursuant to the land development regulations of the Code of Ordinances and the Comprehensive Plan of the City of Delray Beach, providing an effective date and further purposes.
Thank you very much. If you could please
Could I
read the
ask
project
one
file.
question about
Sorry,
this?
Yes?
This was on last night's P and Z.
Yes.
And it's on today's
I-
agenda?
Yes.
That's,
There's a reason.
oh, do you not? Do you want, is it,
I'm happy to say it on the record, but let me just enter
Read
the
the project
file.
file into the record.
Okay, so,
And answer the
and this came through in the portal, so the file numbers are a little different now. Anthea Giannotis, Development Services Director, I'd like to enter file 000322-2025 into the record. Ms. Hurst is here to give you a presentation of the requirement. Ultimately, they had submitted interior build-out permits, very clearly showed it was going to be dog grooming, and it did not get flagged at that time. Typically, this would have occurred before the permits were submitted. So, in an interest of helping the small business move forward, knowing that, and we'll see what you think at the end, but so far, every dog grooming that has come forward has been positively received. We moved her quickly through because
thank you.
renovations
Sorry.
have happened.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine.
I only saw a
Hi,
portion of
Erica
it.
Hurst, 34983. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I don't normally do this. I'm a permit runner, so this is new for me, so I apologize if I don't touch everything. But as she mentioned, yes, we started this process in 2024. Our space has been CO'd. When we went to apply for our BTR, we were notified that we needed a conditional use. So they've been wonderful in helping us move this forward as quickly as possible because the burden on the tenant itself is quite drastic. They're hemorrhaging money daily. They already have a staff, and they didn't want to lose them. And they really wanted to get in, obviously, before the holiday season and try and make the most of that. So we are Wolfgang Bakery and Grooming. We do not bake on site, just so everybody knows. In Delray, it's a national chain. They have about 350 stores. It's a boutique pet retail location with the professional grooming services. Our particular unit is 1,656 square feet, 624 in the front of the store is retail. And in the back, there's roughly 1,000 square feet dedicated to grooming, but you'll notice it is split. So the grooming portion happens in the front and the bathing is in the back. There are no windows, so you can't see from the retail to the grooming space, right? So, and that's not just, for aesthetics, but also for the animals to keep them safe, right? So they're not spooked. Indoor operations only. Everything is appointment based. We only have, which I'll get to on the next slide, but there's 3 to 5 staff members. So we're looking at, we've got 3 washing tubs. We're not doing a ton of grooming at one time. There is no boarding, definitely no boarding overnight. As I mentioned last night, there could be some overlap. I can't really speak to that because if a pet is dropped off and the owner doesn't make it on time, I'm sure we've set up systems for that. And there are no outdoor activities in the location. I just included pictures because I like it. I think it's really pretty. So I wanted you to kind of get an idea of what the space is. I don't know if anybody's ever been to one, but they're like freshly baked dog treats. They've also got some prepackaged treats. I do believe they also sell some of the grooming products that they utilize. Yeah, it is. It does look very girly. Last night I think I said super cute about 100 times. So that is what you would see, though, from the exterior of the space, right, if you were walking by. The hours of operation are Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. As I mentioned previously, the grooming appointments are controlled, 3 to 5 employees per shift. It's quiet, odor-free, insulated. Last night the question was posed, how are we keeping the sound down? It's been, I guess, brought to my attention and through the plan review process that the 1 hour fire rated wall is sufficient, especially considering the number of pets we would have at one time, right, to keep any barking down or noise. Then let's see. Low intensity, again, we're required 7 spaces. The plaza exceeds that. Staggered drop-offs. The weekly deliveries, we address that. We're looking at 1 to 2 deliveries a week, small deliveries. Fully enclosed and insulated, no detectable noise or smell to the neighbors, and it's compatible with all the adjacent PC zoned uses. I have learned so much doing this. It's been wonderful. And then here we just listed all the LDRs that were brought to our attention to just confirm for ourselves and for you guys as well that we are compliant in terms of meeting those regulations. And that's the end of my slide. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
To the city.
Yes, so I did want to say Ms. Hurst did an amazing job. When we realized we had a problem, we're like, we'll run with you, but you have to run too. And that doesn't normally happen as seamlessly. So she really did an amazing job getting all the paperwork in order really quickly, helping, the mailers and everything else.
Thank you.
So ultimately, this is a conditional use. As you know, we have had issues with impacts from pet-related uses, particularly when they have overnight boarding, they're not sufficiently insulated, or there's an outdoor jungle gym that showed up that nobody knew was going to be there, and then disturbing the neighbors. So the city did an entire revamping of pet-related uses on almost everything except veterinarians as a conditional use to make sure that the potential impact can be controlled and that the approval is revocable in the event that there's a disturbance and it's bothering other people. This is proposed to be located at 5048 West Atlantic Avenue. It is in a shopping center. This is the tenant space that you would see. So it's in the Sprout Center, and it's this little pink piece in the corner. That's the space. And again, the grooming salon, you've gotten a good overview of those things. Ultimately, when you are reviewing a conditional use, you have to make the determination that the use will not have a significantly detrimental effect upon the stability of the neighborhood, or in this case, to the adjacent businesses, or hinder development or redevelopment of nearby businesses. So this is one of the big commercial corners, in the western area. It is zoned PC with future land use of GC. The concurrency evaluation shows that there are no changes needed for water, sewer, and that the parking and the traffic impacts are minimal, and the plaza can absorb this type of business without any issues. They are similar intensity to the other uses. The planning board report has a number of goals, objectives, and policies that are evaluated. And then for this use, there are extra uses that you have to evaluate, making sure that the hours of operation are within our limits, that the area is fully enclosed, there are no outdoor activities requested, the parking is sufficient, no overnight boarding or outside uses. In the event, if they ever want to add that, they have to come back. So it was heard at planning board last night, and it did receive a unanimous recommendation of approval to move forward. So,
Thank you very much. This is the public hearing. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this application, please come to the lectern. Give your name and address for the record, and you will each have 3 minutes. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Back to you two. Is there any rebuttal or cross-examination?
No, I'm good. I feel really great about it. I'm super excited.
There we go.
You have no idea. The last month of my life has been Wolfgang, just tunnel vision. So
Those donuts. Okay. Anyway, to the commission, Mr. Long.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like very consistent with what we've approved before. So I have no issue moving forward, but I want to thank Anthea and your team for really expediting this.
yes.
I love to hear that our staff is going above and beyond to work with our small businesses. That's great. So, yeah, I'm
They
all
were
in favor.
phenomenal. Can I say that while you're speaking? But they were wonderful. They were.
Well, you're under
really-
oath, so you know.
Okay.
Now we know it's true.
Mr. Mark.
Yeah, I'm completely in favor. This looks great.
Thank you.
Ms. Burns?
Yeah, I'm ready to approve, but I have a question, and it's not about the facility. So we've had a number of these come before us, and so you were talking about some LDR changes or some changes that we made. However, as long as there's no overnight stay or outside activity, should these be coming to us?
Right. I think that is a great question as to whether or not, now to be fair, the bathing stations and all of that were shown on the life safety plan, and the planning and zoning reviewer missed it. So I have wondered that as well. I'm like, okay, do you want to just trust our team that we're going to make sure there's no overnight boarding?
Right.
I think we could try that. The beauty of the conditional use, of course, is if the sound carries, we have the ability to request more changes or revoke it. But if the sound carried anyway, we can go to code enforcement and have them work with us. So the pet grooming, I think this is the 3rd or 4th one we have approved.
Yes, at least.
They are small businesses, and this is not an inexpensive,
Right.
effort. So if we wanted to try, as long as there's no outside use or boarding, I'm happy to bring that change. We did make the change for the veterinarians to permitted use fairly recently.
So, colleagues, I mean.
I would support that.
Yeah, I think that.
Absolutely.
yes, amen.
Okay, because, this is,
And
as long
sorry,
as there are no outside
And in
uses.
the interim,
or-
if something comes in, can staff just not enforce that portion of the LDR until such time as the LDR
Yes.
comes
I
before
think
you?
that, well, I trust staff to make sure that it is.
Right.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, so
Would you
that,
like a motion?
I need a motion.
Motion to approve resolution number 237-25.
yes. Oh, second.
Will the clerk
I'm
please
ahead of
call the-
myself.
the donut?
Commissioner Casal.
Yes.
Deputy Vice Mayor Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Carney.
Yes.
Commissioner Marker.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Long.
Yes.
Motion
Great.
passed.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Nice
really,
job.
luck.
truly,
Good
they
job.
were
Nice job.
fabulous.
Good job.
Thank you very
Bring my
much.
Rob will be
pooch to
coming
get
for
some donuts.
snacks.
I know, right?
That's right.
Fool me once.
I mean, I got cats, so I feel discriminated.
Did look good.
Those are cats.
I don't know, do they?
Yeah,
Yeah, there were
pictures of
cats.
Oh, they got
Yeah.
cats.
Yeah, there
okay,
were
good.
cats.
They do cats too. I'm definitely in.
Well,
Just, can
No.
we just drop them off for a while? Yeah.
Anyway, we're on 7H, approval of resolution.
For a couple hours.
Approval of resolution 195-25. Chief Hunter, are you here? Oh, no.
What's that?
I'm not Chief Hunter.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, would you please read
But I was-
hold on, would you please read the resolution into the record?
A resolution of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc. for public safety-related video surveillance products, devices, and services, authorizing the purchase as a city standard, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc., as well as any amendments and/or renewals thereto, and to take all actions necessary to effectuate this resolution, providing an effective date and further purposes.
You're on.
Yep. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City staff. My name is Deputy Chief Rodney Stevenson of the Delray Beach Police Department. Brief presentation just to pinpoint some of the pertinent information as it refers to the agreement. In 2016, the Delray Beach Police Department implemented the usage of body-worn cameras with Axon. In 2018, we enhanced our operations by adding in-car cameras and interview room cameras with Axon to further strengthen the goals of accountability and transparency. Excuse me. Law enforcement agencies across the world are using body-worn cameras to provide a visual and audio record of law enforcement interactions with the public. It helps strengthen accountability and transparency, and it can assist in de-escalating conflicts, resulting in more constructive encounters between the police and members of the community. The current agreement with Axon contract was approved in 2021 and expires in 2026. However, it does not include the unlimited third-party storage, which is needed in expansion due to the launch of the Real-Time Crime Center and the expansion of LPRs and the CCTVs citywide. Why a new agreement is now: it locks in the current pricing before the future market increases. An annual price increase of approximately 9% on average, and that's using a conservative assumption. It ensures budget stability and long-term cost control, supports the Real-Time Crime Center integration and technology growth, and includes new features, modules, as well as automatic upgrades to ensure Delray Beach Police Department always operates with the latest technology. From a cost summary standpoint, the proposed contract is a 5-year term with one 5-year renewal. Now, Axon doesn't do less than 5-year contract agreements. The total cost over the 10-year period is $401,896.33. This is evenly divided over a 10-year period. As a comparison, when we look back in 2024 of a similar agreement, the price structure was $11,961,596.81. Fortunately, that pricing structure is no longer available. To look forward, if we waited until 2026 that the contract expired, we would be looking at a cost of $19,499,477.50. By activating the contract now, it's a saving of approximately $4.1 million. From a strategic impact standpoint, it strengthens accountability and transparency. It advances intelligent, connected policing through the Real-Time Crime Center, supports community trust and proactive public safety, provides financial stability and cost predictability, positions Delray Beach Police Department as a leader in the innovative and technology, and this new agreement is a force multiplier to accomplish our goal of making Delray Beach the safest city in America. I do have with me today Sergeant Chad Alpert, who runs our training division. He's a force multiplier from an Axon standpoint, and then we have Mr. Rome with Axon to answer any questions that may be presented.
Thank you very much.
I have one question. This is a substantial difference in the current value, right? What we need to come up with about $4 million. If we sign the contract, is this overtime? What do we need to come up with right now? We terminate one contract, start another. The savings over a period of time, but what do we need to come up with in the current fiscal year, this year?
Nothing. This is actually included in the operation budget of the Delray Beach Police Department for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Okay.
It was contemplated as part of that, so there's not an impact in that regard. We were actually proud to offer this presentation because of the analysis associated with the 10-year consideration, netting multi-million dollars in savings as a result of the technology advancements we're implementing. It's not an issue in that regard. So this is a proud recommendation we wish to offer. And to answer your question again, not a budgetary impact for the current fiscal year.
Fabulous, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Burns.
I'm good. No
Commissioner
questions.
Marker.
No questions.
No, it's budgeted. I think this is good to go.
Commissioner Long.
Good to go.
I'm good to go too. I went through, I had a chance to sit down and go through all this stuff, and it's amazing the technology, this new technology that they're bringing in.
It will.
And it really is, as you really succinctly said, it is going to put us ahead of the curve in a lot of this. And
There's no doubt that Delray Beach will be looked upon as the innovation and the technology standpoint of where we'll be.
but it keeps evolving. Trying to stay even close is hard. Anyway, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve resolution number 195-25.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have nominations now for appointment to the Opiates Settlement Advisory Committee. It is, there are two, and it is, I know it's
Me first.
Markert and Long.
Mr. Markert and Vice Mayor Long.
I would like to nominate Lisa McWhorter.
Okay? All in
Second.
favor?
Oh, we don't need a second?
No, you don't
Okay.
need actually nominations, you don't need a second.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we always had a second.
We always do, but I mean, I'm just
You don't need
trying
to.
to move it along.
All in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Great, done. Vice Mayor Long.
Boy, who am I going to choose?
I know, it's tough. It's a hard one.
I will go with Adele Azam.
How did you come up with that one?
I don't know. Just pull my name. Pull whatever I have. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good.
Could I just
Both-
ask one question? Have we met all our criteria? We had categories laid out. Oh, this is fabulous. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, they have, yeah, it was in the
Okay.
backup.
I didn't
material,
have
yeah.
an appointment, so I didn't review it. Apologies.
to leave for this?
Item 7J, this is the discussion regarding the application received for Vice Mayor Long's seat. As we all know, we've received 5 applications. Paul Kennan, who's here, Ken McNamee, Christina Morrison,
Yes.
Yvonne Odom, and Price Patton.
Right.
I am gathering, it's with my brief conversation with Commissioner, City Manager Moore, I guess we're talking about, is it the next meeting we're talking about? Because Commissioner, soon-to-be ex-Commissioner Long's last day is the 8th.
8th.
Correct?
Yes.
So are we going to be making these on the evening of the 8th?
It's your call.
Or do we
I
gotta
think
wait
on
till the
agenda
next-
they said
next
the
meeting?
1st, but it's really your decision. The charter requires you to consider the applications. If you can't select one at one meeting, you have to at least try twice. And then if you fail by the second time to select somebody, then we'd have to have a special election. But because of the time proximity between the second meeting and the actual election for Commissioner Long's seat, it's not going to be practicable.
I don't want to get involved in a lawsuit, someone saying you didn't hold it within the 60 days. So are we better to,
I would recommend, well, I feel
are we better
like
to push it to the January meeting so we meet the 60-day deadline?
I
or-
would recommend January, maybe December 8th and then the first meeting in January, the second meeting in December and then the first meeting in January. I guess it depends on how you want to address it. If you want to do
I was gonna-
interviews, if you want
Yeah,
to
how are
bring
we
the
gonna do
applications
this?
forward,
Yeah, that's what we're asking. I mean,
What's the process?
it's whatever you want.
Well, I think we can interview individually on our own. If
I
you're
mean, we
giving
know
us
some-
till the
we know
first
every one
meeting
of
in
these people, so,
January,
yeah.
then
Well,
we
no,
have
you'd-
ample
You'd have
time.
until the first meeting in December.
Right.
And then remember, the January meeting is only if you're unable to select somebody. If you can select somebody, then,
Then it's academic.
correct.
That's,
So when is the first time that we try to select?
You can do December 1st, you can do December
Oh,
8th.
I thought it was on the books for December.
the
can we
1st.
agenda,
move it
it
out
says
to the
November
8th
1st.
just because of the holidays,
more
the
time.
Thanksgiving holiday and that?
I'd rather see the 8th.
If we're going to ask people to interview with each of us, you know?
Is that the way we want to do it? Interview
Well,
with
I
each
think
of
you
us?
can do it if you want. I
Don't
think
we
we should
need a-
leave it up to ourselves. If you want to call, if I want to call, I mean, I know some of these people.
Well, I think we look, I'm happy to make it, I mean, if the 8th works for everybody, and that's kind of Rob's, Commissioner Vice Mayor with a long last day, that's fine too. But I just think,
So the 8th.
so can we all agree then, we're going to make the choices on the 8th? In the
Yes.
interim, we can call whoever we want, interview whoever we want, and
Right.
do whatever we want. And if that fails, then we're going to bring it to the 1st of January?
May I ask a question,
It
Mayor?
would be
Sure.
January.
How are
January
we doing
13th.
this? I mean,
January 13th, excuse me. what?
are we going to do this? What is the process? Are we just going to say we pick one or we don't? And we may have trouble coming to a consensus. I just say that honestly. Are we doing a sliding scale where you'd give somebody a number and another number and a number and tally them up?
I don't think it needs to be that complicated. I would treat this almost like you're appointing somebody to a board. It's
Okay.
Just, it's just this board, right?
Mm.
It's for a very short, finite amount of time.
Right.
So it's, obviously, it's your decision on how you want to do it, but I don't think I would
Yeah, make it
do all
difficult.
that.
Yeah, I don't want to grade people, because then,
Right.
those grades.
When we
We'll just-
select
we'll
a
just
city
go-
manager, we do it like that. You kind of write them down, and then you don't even, no one sees them, and you give them to the clerk,
But they do
and
see
the
it as
clerk
public.
tallies them up.
I think we
I think we
keep
just
it
we'll do not-
simple.
We'll just do, unless, well, my preference now would be, we just do nominations.
Okay.
Someone nominates, we vote, we go forward, and, till we get somebody. If we don't get somebody, then we go back to
I
January.
I agree with that.
Okay,
That's
anybody
two.
else? Okay?
And that's on the 8th, correct?
That's on the
December.
8th.
Okay, thank you.
So don't make your departing speech too long.
Oh, it's gonna be really long.
I know.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm gonna air all my grievances, so it's gonna take a while.
Good. All right, so that's accomplished. We've got that accomplished. Okay, we now have, coming to our first readings, ordinance 931-25.
Mayor, can I do 9A, B, and C at the same time?
I was going to ask you, could you do 9A, B, and C, because they're really the same issue,
It's the
but
same
the three
thing.
different departments, yes.
Correct. Ordinance 3125, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 33, Police and Fire Rescue Departments of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, by amending Police Officers Retirement System, Section 33.64, contributions, providing for the removal of interest from a member's refund of contributions, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, authority to codify, providing an effective date, and for other purposes. Ordinance number 32-25, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 33, Police and Fire Rescue Departments of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, by amending Firefighters Retirement System, Section 33.78, contributions, providing for the removal of interest from a member's refund of contributions, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, authority to codify, providing an effective date, and for other purposes. Ordinance number 33-25, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 35, Employee Policies and Benefits of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, by amending Retirement Plan, Section 35.095, contributions of participant in city, providing for the removal of interest from a participant's refund of contributions, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, authority to codify, providing an effective date, and further purposes.
Great.
And this is first reading.
These are first readings, so with everyone's acquiescence, I think we should just make a motion to move it to the
One
second.
motion for, or do we need to do them individually or one?
I think it's
You can do all one big one.
Okay, motion to approve ordinance 3125, 3225, and 3325.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. Comments by the city manager.
From my family to yours, happy Thanksgiving in advance. Otherwise, I yield at this time.
Comments by the city attorney.
I just want to apologize because I went through the local rules, and on page 16, under allocated time, it does state that during workshop meetings, public comments shall be limited to the subject matter before the commission and shall not exceed a maximum of 30 minutes.
Thank you very much. So
Now it's
noted.
embedded
So-
in my head.
So noted. We will make sure the next
Page
time we do
16.
that.
So, other than that, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. That's your comment?
That's my comment.
Okay. I just have I just have a couple of comments. I would like to see whether we can find in our miscellaneous cash lying around the thought of finding some of these noise cameras, maybe getting 5 noise cameras. I just think it would address a lot of issues. I do think they will generate revenues, and it will show really that we're serious about noise. I mean, we can have all these ordinances, but it's very hard to, it's going to be very hard for both our code enforcement and our police to go ahead and do that. And this way, it really will show that we're serious about it. So can we get agreement on Friday?
Can we have a presentation from, like at the next meeting, just the cost,
I
how
don't know
many
if I
we
can
might
do-
need, where we
I was
put
going to
them?
reach out to the noise consultant
Yeah.
and get their
That's fine.
recommendations,
That's good.
and then I'll either I don't know if he's going to be able to come.
Let's
for the
get that
next
underway.
meeting.
So we have consensus to get that underway, everyone? Yes?
We'll get the
Yeah, we'll get the
presentation.
presentation done and see if we like
Right.
it.
It will not be December 1st. However, given the direction offered during the workshop
January,
meeting, I was
whatever.
pretty much well ahead of you. That's congruent in that regard. However, I would like to work with Lynn and other members of the team to timely make this opportunity available. So we're probably talking the next few meetings or so, not terribly long from now.
That's fine.
It has
January,
to be
so.
before first reading, because we'll probably have to make changes.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a while.
So once we get to
Waiting.
that place, if I may, ladies and gentlemen, once we get to that place, we'll concurrently evaluate the opportunities for noise cameras and what the budget adjustment considerations will be, a la your metaphor of miscellaneous change lying around.
Thank you very much.
Could I just jump in? The corporate CEOs trying to creep out of me. Instead of just going to these companies and wanting to just buy this stuff, could we go to them and ask for a free trial? That's pretty common in the world. And why wouldn't we want to try a couple of these out on their dime, see what it produces before we commit our resources to it?
Good
That's
suggestion.
pretty normal in the corporate world that somebody's
We do
going
that here too.
somebody's going to say yes to that.
So noted. Good
Cities
suggestion.
do it too, so that's
Yeah.
a fairly common practice in public and private sector. I'm very supportive.
That'd be
Some
great.
of them might have like an ROI guarantee
Mike,
too.
you're right up.
you might be able to work that into a contract. I don't know.
The second thing, I mean,
It allows us to test it out too. Let's make sure before we invest our
Let's see if
hard-earned
it, let's see
cash.
if it, let's see if it, a great suggestion. A comment was raised about gun, whether you should have gun range regulations. I think that's probably something we should look at in terms of seeing whether it fits in certain neighborhoods or not.
I think it's in the MIC is what Mitch Katz brought that up last night, and he called me after the meeting because someone was speaking to him and said there's no regulations, you could have it next to a residential in the MIC. I think it's only that area, so maybe you can look into it and let us know.
Yeah.
Obviously, SB 180 is a concern.
Oh, okay, all right, I understand that. So we'll put that, I just,
Put it on the list, but then.
Yeah, because I mean, I do think that was a fair comment, because, you really don't want it next to a residential neighborhood, but
Even
within
if
an
you-
MIC or other industrial, it makes sense unless it's contiguous to, adjacent to something like that. And the last thing I wanted to say is that the next visioning process is going to be taking place on December the 12th, the second meeting of the steering committee. And I'm glad, almost uniformly, everyone seemed to like how it was handled. We had a great facilitator, and she did a great job. I want to start I think we need to start the process of selecting the groups that are going to be participating in the January session, when that date to be determined, but I think they're talking like the 12th or whatever that date is in there. They're talking about that part of January. And as we had originally discussed, each of the commissioners would have like a number to pick. Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 25. And then, we're going to be inviting other groups as well. But I think we need to start that process of getting people involved, getting our lists together so that we can start appointing people. And, with the I'm hoping that it's a diverse group, that all the different neighborhoods are going to be represented and everything like that, to make it a truly effective kind of visioning process. So,
Could I ask you a question?
but
regarding that?
I mean, please.
So I understand Ms. Malika had a great idea, which was, why not have the people we chose choose? Because we're rippling out beyond us when we do that, right?
Right.
I picked 5 people. If each of those people picks 5 people, we're getting a much more expansive group than
It's
if
not,
we
that's
go
not, but
find.
the typical way, I'm really trying to keep it in the way we've done it in the past.
But
And while I
maybe
understand,
doing it better is better. I mean, we want a broad
you are,
swath of
and
the
I,
population.
and you would be welcome to consult with her to see who she would like you to appoint. But
Well, I
I
didn't
want to
pick
keep
her,
it
but
within the,
I
I want
thought
to keep
her
it within
idea
the
was
purview
great.
of the commission to make the selections, because that's the way it's supposed to go. It's working, it's going to work out really well for everybody. So I understand, you don't have your selectees do the selections. It's just not the way it works. So, I'm just, are you done down there? Are we bothering you?
Sorry.
Just,
We're listening, we're multitasking.
So anyway, that's my thought.
We're multitasking in response to the consensus having just been offered, actually, to be honest and open.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Can I get a witness? Okay.
We love your accountability.
So, should we try to plan on that on the December 1st meeting or the December 8th meeting?
Either would
I
work.
really want to get it
Deputy Vice
before
Mayor.
the holidays
Let's
start.
do the
People need to start thinking
first
about,
if we can.
If we can
'cause
do the
I
first, then he
don't
can
know how much I'm
participate.
going to participate on the 8th.
because I want to be able to send, after they have the second meeting on December the 12th, they're going to come out with a little kind of a report, which we want to be able to then share with the group that's going to be getting together in January.
So, ladies and gentlemen, December 1st would be appropriate. Again, there's no formality in terms of an application process, any of that. You all have carte blanche ability to make the appointments. Your idea to work with the individuals you've appointed, to ask them to identify individuals to help in your decision-making process, whatever process you all see fit. So we'll simply create a one-page agenda item for December 1st so that you all can formally proceed accordingly. Likewise, after this evening, get your thoughts together in terms of who that might be, and we will engage from there. I'll be
Yeah, and
happy to make
I would ask
arrangements.
that you check with everyone, because we want to make sure that the people that we select actually are going to come.
Yeah, it's important.
Because there were a couple conflicts in the first meeting that people didn't make. They're going to be at the second meeting. And so I think that it's going to be fine.
I would say everyone should compile a pretty big list because there's going to be a lot of overlaps.
That's fine. You have,
You know,
I'm
like,
just-
don't just come with 25 and think no one's going to pick any of your people.
Well, yeah, we all kind of know the same people, so
Right.
that's going to happen.
We'll prepare for December 1. That's 13 days.
But if you pick the same person in a split personality, you actually got two.
Does that count?
Yeah, I got
All right, I know a lot of those people.
I'll pass.
Anyway, all right. Are there any other? Oh, wait a minute. I've only spoken. That's the other commissioner.
I'll go. Okay.
Sorry, I'm ready to close the
no,
meeting.
that was good.
Okay.
Next run with the chief is a turkey trot. It's a 5K though, so I don't know. And it's at 7:30 in the morning, so I may struggle. 1, I'm okay. 5, I don't know. I play tennis on Saturdays.
We'll get
7:30
we'll get the
a.m.
leaf blowers out to your house at 6. to get you
7:30
up.
a.m. at Anchor Park on the 22nd, which is Saturday. Should be exciting. And where's Gina? Is she gone? All right. I guess I'll show this for the camera. Gina gave us all
Well done.
lovely artwork print, and I'm very much appreciating it. Thank you, Gina. And again, to thank Mr. Hajimiri, because the deep injection well starting is really exciting. So thank you, Mr. Hajimiri, for always working so tirelessly for the residents. And also, Parks and Rec Department Veterans Day event was pretty amazing this year. I really enjoyed it, and I want to thank our staff because while most of our staff was home, our Parks and Rec was working for us, and they made us look great. We did get the Digital City Award, I believe. That was in your information letter, and I want to just give a giant round of applause to Mr. Stacy and his whole department because that's a big deal. Okay, giant round of applause. Also, I got to enjoy the library retail therapy event, and it was pretty fun. So if anybody hasn't done it next year, make sure you check it out because it was really great. And also, in the process, there was a whole brochure about all the things going on at the library. I spend a fair amount of time there, but there's so much going on that I don't even realize. So people need to check out the programs, both for children, adults, and young adults at the library. We're very fortunate. Our library is pretty amazing. The Reef Institute, I attended an event at the Reef Institute with Mr. Chard. I think he's gone. But I was super excited to see they had a giant plaque thanking the city of Delray Beach for its contribution. And that was fun. The nonprofit funding, Mr. Moore, am I correct in understanding that the nonprofits have not received their funding or their funding agreements, which typically are out on the 1st of October?
Funding agreements are being finalized at this time. The difference is, of course, for example, the Arts Garage. You're making a transition from the former AGOT approach, so that's actually being developed, and that will be before you in the next couple meetings or so for approval. So that structure has to be executed, and that will be before you soon.
Can we get it at the next meeting? Because there's a reliance on that money, I think, and if people expect it on the 1st of October and they're not getting it on the 1st of October, that could be problematic. If we could get that in the next meeting, I think that would be great.
I was anticipating the first meeting in January.
I would think we should ask for it to be at the next meeting if you could do that. Is there a reason? I mean, we've been working on this for over 6 or 7 months.
Mr. Orris, can you please come forward?
So where I am with this is you all had directed me to redo the funding agreements for those that already have funding with us and extend those out now that we have the additional CRA A-Guide dollars that the city is now funding. What I need to do is make sure that everybody has an appropriate performance list. All of those funding agreements have an exhibit to them of here's what we're going to do with the money, so we have something to judge it against. We need to look at all those. I have not had an opportunity to
Can you do that immediately? Can we direct him to do that immediately? Because this conversation started a year and a half ago up here about transferring the A-Guide funding into the city. And we should not be sitting here like, oh, we're surprised and now we have to do this paperwork that we don't have.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Moore, I'd like
If I
my
may,
colleagues
please.
to give a consensus to see this on the next agenda.
I would like to recommend December 8th. Give us that additional week so that we can prepare accordingly. I think that's fair enough because our original contemplation, we just met about this over the weekend after I got back about getting this all squared away soon. So For the reasons that Mr. Orris discussed, we talked about the next few weeks. We'll make it a priority for December 8th. That's only 1 week difference, and it closes out the calendar year.
How long after we vote on that do they get the funding that they've been,
Once the approvals are granted, we can begin administration immediately thereafter.
okay, so like December 9th or 10th?
The net,
Do we also want to add to this list, or we're going to discuss this? I think we need to talk about caps, too. I mean, people are getting larger and larger events, and so they're
I
getting
have no
larger,
problem
splitting half and half.
talking about all that. I think that's going to be part
that's
of our
part of the workshop
That's fine.
engagement to that
But we
effect,
already
correct?
made this promise,
No,
and they're
that's
supposed to get
fine.
that in October,
I just
so.
wanna
Commissioner
make sure that-
Casal,
Okay,
I'm comfortable with December 8th. We'll pull out the stops to make that happen so that concerns can be alleviated as you've outlined. Otherwise, the piece you just brought up, Mayor, will be a
Well, look at
function
some
of the
budgets
following
and look at
workshop
they're
meeting
increasing their
to
budgets
take
the way
place.
cover the portion that they're not getting, so.
we can talk about that, but right now, we kind of already made a guarantee, so I feel like
Yeah,
we
I'm
need
not-
to
I'm
honor
not-
that.
December the,
So, ladies and gentlemen, consensus for December 8th?
Yes.
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 Thank you. That's what I would recommend, so we'll proceed accordingly, and so we'll get to work with the quickness, as it were. Thank you.
And one other thing, if you would please explain to me, in your information letter, you have something about a study for economic development. What is that?
We're simply preparing for the December 1st workshop meeting engagement as committed by the commission a few weeks back. So December 1st, 2025, 3:30 to 5, we will have a workshop meeting engagement to discuss economic development, expectations of the city commission, what our target focus will be. We are likewise updating the economic development profile for the city of Delray Beach that was first presented back on September 14, 2021. Mayor Carney, you brought that to our attention when we met a couple meetings ago about
So the
this.
study is going to provide what information?
It's not a study, it's just an update to the economic development profile, statistics, up-to-date information regarding demographics and other
It sounded
data.
like you were hiring somebody outside to do it based on that.
I did. Yeah, it's a simple task to be able to present to the commission what that looks like. So it's a very nominal expense consulting services to get us to that place so that we can have up-to-date information as part of that presentation December 1. So I did authorize that, and again, it is congruent with the commitments having been made at the city commission meeting level regarding economic development synergy so that we can prepare adequately for December 1. I felt that it was appropriate to have up-to-date information as possible, so
Yeah, I
yes,
agree.
direction
I
was
just-
made to that effect, and we'll be preparing for December 1, your next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Long.
I got nothing except to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Commissioner Burns.
Put my man in my mouth.
Would you like me to start with Mr.
I
Marker?
have, yes, please.
Commissioner Marker. Give you
I'm
time
up.
to
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on the spot. How much time do you need? I'll fill up whatever you need.
Filibuster.
No, I also want to say happy Thanksgiving, but I also want to do a shout out to the large number of people that showed up for the visioning exercise at the golf course. That's a lot of people that showed up, and they gave up a half a day of their time. And not only did they give up their time, they were all into it. I mean, there was nobody holding back opinions, and that's what we were really hoping for. And there were some really eye-opening things that came out that we hadn't contemplated, and that was the purpose of the exercise. So a lot more to come, but it's super great to see 30 people showing up at 7 o'clock in the morning at the golf course to help the city out. I mean, it's pretty darn amazing, and it made me feel good. So thank you to the folks that participated. Your time was greatly appreciated.
And just a couple of reminders, December 2nd is tree lighting, for everybody interested in that, so we don't want to forget that. December 13th is our holiday parade.
13th?
Don't want to forget that.
Thank you.
And all teasing aside, I do think the Rotary is great. I do think the Kiwanis are great. We have great not-for-profits. We have great civic organizations. We also have Philly cheesesteaks also here, because you said you're from Philly, so we got that too. So, but anyway, thank you all for coming.
Actually, Deputy Vice Mayor Burns, she has an item on the
I called
agenda.
on you.
Were you about to?
She wasn't ready.
No, I was about to say Commissioner Burns.
Yeah.
I was about to pass the gavel.
No, I had a minute in my mouth. So, just item 10C on the agenda is an item that I wanted
course,
to, yeah, a conversation about how we can strengthen fairness and access in our city procurement process. And this is to ensure that every qualified business, large or small, long time, new, has a fair chance to compete in our city's procurement process. There was a backup piece that gave some examples of some things that, programs that others have, and so I just wanted to have that discussion.
That's right.
And then the recommended action is to have staff consider policies to promote fairness. So that's that. So do we discuss that now? Because I have a few other things that I want to add.
Yeah,
So
well-
how do we do that? Yes.
So you can ask for consensus. I think that, do you want to give a little background?
Sure.
So the impetus, we were having a conversation and, with the concern with the DEI policies, we found these articles, and I can email them to you because I don't think that the backup printed out well.
Yeah, kind of cut it off.
And it's just ways that municipalities are just being creative to ensure fairness and equity in their bids and procurements without running afoul of federal regulations.
Can we put it on a future agenda, Ms. Burns, so we can all get the same information and talk to the city attorney about it?
I think what Commissioner, I don't want to speak for you, but I think what she was seeking was basically to have staff have a conversation and maybe present it to the commission at some point to come up, to be creative with policies that are, consistent with the law, but bring those to you. Nothing will be ratified or adopted without your approval due to the overarching issues associated with it. But I think she just wanted to start the conversation.
Right.
I think staff as the subject matter experts would be the best people to do that. And they would just bring it back to you in a workshop, and then you can have those discussions if that's something you wish to entertain.
And I would actually, should the commission have an interest in offering consensus and support to this effect, I'm looking at early 2026. So pretty soon to facilitate a specific workshop meeting for this particular purpose, and we'll begin making preparations accordingly.
Okay. So
That works for me.
we can get
Consent, I got that.
consent?
You got my
Okay,
consent.
so, okay, thank you. I think, Mr. Moore, you addressed the Brooks Lane flooding.
Yes, ma'am.
That was taken care of. That was the one that you said that
That is
happened
what I
last
was
Thursday.
referring. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and there was also a request to have a meeting at the golf course with the contractor for, to talk about the overall construction project, timelines. So has any consideration been given, or has a meeting been planned for that, for those people that live out on the golf course and the rest of the community?
Sure. So that is actually a function of project implementation. Prep work is being done. Now, the clubhouse will be closing beginning in January. So the contractor will be asked to coordinate a community meeting for residents to learn some of the specifics so as to alleviate any concerns, impacts, etc. So that will be forthcoming. I will update you all soon in terms of when that will happen.
Okay, so will you be responding to Mr. McCall, or should I? That we have something coming?
He's probably watching.
Mr.
That's
McCall,
true.
if you're listening.
If you're listening, Mr. McCall, and anybody else out there concerned, our leadership team will be in touch and will publicize when that will take place accordingly.
Okay.
Because much of the work will soon be initiated. The golf course has officially closed 2 weeks ago in preparation for the renovation activity, much of which will begin soon. So we will ask the contractor to proceed with the community engagement to give residents an opportunity to understand specifics, any impacts, whatever the case might be, so as to alleviate any concerns aggregately.
Okay, thank
Are we
you.
going to try to have that at the golf course before they close,
Yeah,
December
before they
31?
close.
I'm looking at the next few weeks before the golf club facility closed down, because that is a convenient location. So we'll let you know when that is specifically, but over the next few weeks or so, we look forward to getting that squared away.
Okay, and you, Mayor, you already brought up the gun thing, so I can scratch that off. And then also the Veterans Day program, I just wanted to say to Parks and Rec that it was great program. And again, thank them for reaching out to Post 188, because again, the address and contact person was lost. They were not getting the messages, and so now they are getting the messages, and Parks and Rec has a direct contact. So happy about that. And I think that's it.
And they had a good fundraiser.
And yes, and they had a good fundraiser. We had boots on the ground. Yes, thank you. All right, that's it. I'm done.
Anything else? We are adjourned.